Good morning. Welcome to the live stream. Today we're going to be talking about AMC and GME. I stayed up late last night, up till about 2 a.m., really researching that stuff, and noticed that AMC is now up about 120% today, and GME starts to head higher as well. What's happening with the data? We have to look at the data real quick. So once people do trickle in, we'll look at this data, and it looks awful from the reading for today. It looks awful from the rating for today, but I'm going to tell you why we're heading up right now. Very, very soon. I'm going to tell you guys why we're heading up. As we trickle in, make sure to say good morning and get these levels on your chart. 524.51 to the upside, 517.31 to the downside. I've got some things to say this morning about what's going on with the stock market and this type of behavior, and we are going to go over that once people start to trickle in. I really think that people should like this video, and we're going to talk about a lot of things because going forward, this is very interesting that PPI is actually up. If anyone did already look at that data, you're going to notice that PPI is dramatically up as of right now. Yet we are going to see the stock market go higher, and that's perfectly fine. You know, stock market, they go up, they go down. We still trade like water. We move back and forth. This still has the ability to fade today. Maybe this is going to be some kind of trap band of day. We'll pay attention to that for you. Maybe we want to go create some kind of triple divergence or something like that. But I'm probably, you know, you guys, some of you guys like my rant, some of you don't. I have a little rant to do this morning, and it kind of has to do with the data and how this is going to make the, I would say, average trader or average retail trader react. Because if you just go down to the futures market, what are you going to see? You're going to see this dramatic drop, the actual true reaction to what should be happening because of that PPI. And we're going to go over why this reaction makes total sense, but we're also going to go over why this reaction makes total sense, why this buying up makes total sense. But this is most likely not your retail trader. They're going to most likely react to the most recent piece of data, and there was a piece of the data that has changed, and therefore now we are seeing that buy completely back up. But you're going to see here the SPX was actually down at a low of 5193.7, so this was actually towards that daily expected move for the day. So the SPY, if we wanted to talk about this and not really get into the rant or anything like that yet, we can still pay attention to our daily expected moves. And it looks like that reaction came all the way down. It almost actually, it was only about 1 point away from hitting that daily expected move at the open, and then that was able to buy back up. This makes no sense, and it makes me angry. We are going to talk about it. I really want people to get in here before I start talking about what I think is going to happen going forward. The Qs as well. The Qs as well dipped way down in the pre-market. They really did. Right, the US 100 dipped way lower in the pre-market and now is buying completely back up. And it does make sense. It does make sense. From a rigged market perspective, it makes total sense. From a rigged data perspective, it makes total sense. So we will talk about it once people trickle in. Hopefully you guys are having a good morning. Good morning to everyone who are coming in. Kawila, I hope one day I get maybe I'll call you Mac Nicole. Because that's a little bit better, but good morning. And we're also going to be touching on IWM a little bit. So IWM experiencing going up towards that daily expected move already early on in the day. So what am I expecting from things like AMC and things like GME? Well, we're at an area where your day traders might actually step in and sell this bad boy. So this has gone up officially. This has gone up. Let me see if I even get the right area here. This has gone up 320% in 2 days. And we're going to talk about this. We really are. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you guys how you can analyze this because I've looked back to when the last time this happened. And I've actually looked into the data. And I think it might happen again. I actually do. I think it might happen again. And the fact that I can say it might happen again might mean it's actually worth me, you know, throwing 200, 500 bucks at it or something like that. And we'll see if that's going to happen. But as of right now, with what's happening with the data this morning, it really wants me to lean towards AMC and GME to make some big guys hurt. And I know that's kind of not what I teach on this channel. I still want to be very clear. This is not what I teach on this channel. It's not good. It's not good to gamble in the market. It's not good to, but overall you would say, from what I've read into, there's one guy, very, very small account who I found last night, and I was watching some of his assessment of AMC, not necessarily GME, but AMC, and going through their numbers. And I actually think that he's right. I actually think AMC is undervalued here at this price point of 288, very undervalued actually. Actually, I think where it's at right now might be a fair value, but this is most likely going to take over and get crazy. As people trickle in, we are going to go over that. But first, we have to pay attention to what the market's doing. And as of right now, what are you seeing on AMC? So once we get to about 100 people in here, we'll actually go over that, but you'll see that start to dip down. So I'm going to keep it up on my left screen. We're going to talk about it in a moment. But as of right now, you're seeing a big red bar. So that's a big uptick. And now we can start to see that trickle down. And most likely we're going to see some halts from all of these trading platforms, even E-Trade, even brokers halted it yesterday. So that is going to piss a lot of people off. And they should be heavily fined, honestly. They actually should be heavily fined. And honestly, they should be depositing money into people's accounts with E-Trade. But going forward, just to keep it as regular for today, for the first part of the day, where are we at? We're right at where we started, from where we ended from yesterday. We're still in the same area. So why could this go up? Okay, let's go over some data real quick. You guys want to go over some data real quick? Let's do it. Good morning. And we can look at Amazon. We're going to look at that in a moment. That is starting to break down, but notice it's buying back up. Meta starting to break down a little bit further. Still looking for that target of 453. We're going to do a breakdown here in a moment. But for now, we need to look at the data and why this reaction is happening. So as you can see, PPI month over month, holy crap, it actually came in to like 0.2% higher, which is a pretty bad sign. That's actually a very, very bad sign for the stock market, or for inflation. That's a bad sign. That is a pretty decent tick up. And you're probably wondering, okay, we saw all this inflation start to tick up. Even the core PPI year over year coming in at consensus, the core PPI month over month coming in 0.3 higher. That is a significant thing to pay attention to. But why does the stock market go up? This right here, last night, it said 1.8 was the previous, or something like that. I think it was 1.8. I have to kind of remember because it's changed. This said 1.8 last night. Now it says negative 0.1%. So people now are going to read into this data, and they might assume that it's wrong and that it's going to be updated in a month and actually be negative or something like that. So that is going to cause a lot of confusion in this market, and that's why we trade like water on this channel. My tone's a little off because I never thought I'd find myself feeling like this towards the market at this point. And it's not to say like, oh, I'm losing a bunch of money or anything like that. That's not what's causing it. It's causing me to kind of believe that the average trader who sees this data and reads it correctly and sees that the stock market should head down from here and it doesn't, is going to be very mad. And you're going to see, if you look back at the first comments, as we did enter in or did start the live stream, the first thing that was said was, this makes no sense and it makes me angry. And bad PPI numbers are not bullish. PPI was hot and shit is still up. LMAO rigged is, yeah. So this is what we're going to talk about, actually. We're going to talk about what this data is going to cause. And we're going to talk a lot about AMC. But first, let's do a full breakdown before we talk about AMC. You have all information that is wrong, and then when you catch a luck streak, the market takes it. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, why we get these data reports if they're just going to completely change a month later. This just convinces me that this data should not even be released. It really shouldn't until the solid number is out. This data should not be released until a solid number is out, until the actual number is out. Because this is very, very wrong. That's way too wrong. That is a whole 1.7% wrong. Like, how do we allow, like, how is that allowed? That's kind of ridiculous. And this didn't hurt, like, I'm not even, like, right, I didn't have risk going into this, really, right? I have a short on Meta, I think that's like $1,000, and then I have a volatility play, which is about $1,000. It's not something that's like life-changing or something. But this just really is baffling and is annoying, and this data should not be released. This should not be released if this is just going to be wrong in a month. It's very, very ridiculous. So what are we going to see from here? Well, as you can see, positive environment. Where are we? Well, we're in positive territory, okay? So we're in positive territory. What does that mean for us? We can go up to that daily expected move now. But that's as long as this holds. We still have to pay attention to that rolling over. We have a lot of stocks that are kind of climbing to the downside. Don't care to chase trips and no FOMO, just irrational with the market. Very, very true. That's why you're seeing IWM go up to higher levels. Now you're going to see that sell off. We hit the daily expected move. Your day traders are going to take profit. And that's what we're going to talk about for an opportunity today. And the reason I'm going to talk about it as an opportunity is because if it does happen, I think it's a way to actually stick it to some people. And I'm okay with that at this point. I'm okay with that at this point because of this. You know, last night I was reading into it and I was like, oh yeah, if we see the signal, you know, you can try to take a play with it. Don't use an amount of money that you're going to be hurt by. You know, you can buy one contract. You can try something like that for like, you know, or you can buy a couple shares. But then this happens and it really, really upsets me that we're getting data that is just completely wrong 1 month. Like this is not okay. And look how it confuses the market. And is that even correct? Like how can I even trust this number at this point? How is this going to, okay. Anyway, let's get into a full analysis here. Let's try to change my tone a little bit. I just know that a lot of people are going to be hurt by this reaction, and this is going to piss them off. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So the SPY going up to higher levels. If we cross up on this MACD, what's going to happen? Positivity. That should not happen. But hey, the market goes up and we play the signals and we trade like water no matter what. We have to take our emotions out of it. And I'm sorry if this did not go your way, because the data, it just, you can't trust it now. I would say you just cannot trust it at this point, because that is a huge mistake. And we see that all the time in the jobs report. Okay, but positive environment, positive territory. What could we see? If this actually crosses up, that's the next big move higher. We might continue to squeeze. Just be careful. We have CPI the next day. CPI the next day. All right. So we'll pay attention to this. The levels to pay attention to for today: 524.51 to the upside, 517.31 to the downside. AMC's frozen. Exactly. Here we go. It's going to freeze. I'm going to tell you the opportunity if it does unfreeze. What's going to happen? All right, Qs. Similar thing, right? Similar thing. We were talking about the touch into this zone. Still possible. Still possible. Rotated down. Needs to curl up on this MACD in order to go higher, and then we can maybe target that topside move. 447.02, okay, to the upside, and 439.14 to the downside. All right. So originally, it was down here, but then people read into that previous number changing, and boom. Now stocks go up. So we're going to talk about this further, but right now just look at it from a technical perspective. They won't let me take profit on GME. No, they won't. And that's going to piss you off even more. And we're going to talk about that a lot today. And sucks. And I don't have anything in it, by the way. I don't have anything in it, by the way, but I know people do. Look, Miles is pissed. There's 20 people who are pissed right now. Maybe more than that in the chat. Who's pissed? Say, I'm pissed if you're pissed. But if you took calls here, you're going to be like, hey, this is a get out of jail free card. Thank God I didn't do options. That's very good. That's very good. That's the way you got to think about it. Hey, thank God that didn't happen. But all right. So keys, what do we want to pay attention to? Still in positive context, right? The 30-minute is not rolling negative. Mad as hell. SPY wants to go to 545. It actually can happen. I mean, now we have the confusion in the market. We're squeezing. We can head even higher. So look at that move going up right now. So we're going to see some upside, it looks like. Okay, Apple, we're going to get to Amazon in a moment. I know someone asked about Amazon. We're going to switch over to Apple for a brief moment here. All my stuff froze. All my stuff froze. Oh my gosh. If I get another power outage, I'm going to lose my mind. All right. Apple heading up to higher levels. This is a big divergence. This is outside of the weekly expected move. I'm going to be very blunt today. And tell you that Apple is a signal that looks very weak from the momentum perspective. A lot of the time I put this stuff on Patreon when I see it. This is something I would put on Patreon. Okay, you have a 2-hour. You have divergence up in these levels. And this can easily start to rotate down. This is as far as Apple is expected to go, really, for the entire week on a Tuesday morning. So this is an opportunity here. If this can confirm and start to head down from here, Apple could see some kind of dramatic drop. All right, I am going to be very, very blunt. I'm going to tell you exactly what the signals are saying here. And just know you're in an environment where things are rigged. The data is definitely rigged. That's what we can tell from today. The data is 100% rigged. Now, that's not to say I'm not necessarily that angry about that. I'm more angry about how people are going to lose money because of that. And that's what pisses me off. And we should not release the data if we're just going to completely change it a month later. It just send it out a month later when it's the actual number is what I would say. And how do we know that's the actual number is the other part. But Apple up in these areas, you're outside of the weekly expected move. I just want to let you know you do have a 2-hour divergence at this point, and that is starting to turn down on the RSI. So this could fade very quickly, and Apple could crash down from these levels. That's how we're going to talk about the stocks today. Now, what's happening with Tesla? Now, Tesla actually making an upward move. It might convince you like, hey, this thing has to head higher here. Let me just get off the chat because I'm gonna just keep reading it, and you guys are angry, and I get it, and I'm angry with you. I'm angry for you. Tesla, what's it doing? It went outside of its weekly expected move. Do not think that this thing has to scream higher from this level at this point. What is happening? What we talked about yesterday a little bit, which was we're gonna get some kind of reaction up, and then we get some kind of retest, or this fails and starts to go negative, and we'll have to see. But according to this right here, we are at that weekly expected move early on in the week, and we'll have to see. But if CPI comes out as good for the market, Tesla might go nuts. And we have to pay attention to that. We're in an environment where we can still squeeze, which is funny that in the overall stock market, we're in an environment where we could squeeze, and we're going through that massive GME AMC short squeeze. So that is going to maybe fuel the fire there. I'm going to be genuine about that. You know, during the last time we were in a bull market, we weren't necessarily in a squeeze. This time we're in a squeeze environment across the board. And if that starts to take over on AMC and GME while the overall market is in a squeeze itself, that can lead to GME and AMC skyrocketing. That is one thing. That is one point that I want to get to when we get to AMC and GME, but we're going to still hold off on that. We're going to talk about Amazon now. Tesla's at that weekly expected move. Be cautious because sellers can come in at that weekly expected move. Amazon is not to the downside at its weekly expected move just yet. We're not necessarily seeing great reversal signals or anything. The only thing I'm seeing right now is a possible divergence down here. So I want to go into a 15-minute. I want to show you guys the divergence. Do you see it right now? So if this starts to head up from here and we squeeze, this might be the only drop we get. This might be the only drop we get. We have to play these signals very closely and be very careful with CPI, okay? Be very careful with CPI. PPI just ticked up dramatically. But PPI was supposed to tick up, okay? So the data from CPI was CPI is supposed to come down a little bit. So if that one's right as well, that would be how it plays out, right? If they're right. But as of right now, what are we seeing? With the PPI, it's really increasing. So we have to be open to that actually ticking up as well. Okay, so we're still trading like water, but I just wanted to show you the 15-minute divergence. This is not outside of a weekly range or anything like that, and that PPI data was technically bad, so we could end up down towards that weekly range. All right, I just don't think it's the best environment to even trade in right now. It's so toxic, and the data's lying to you pretty much. Now, what are we seeing from NVIDIA? Actually did cross down on this 30-minute MACD. So if this can go negative here, we're actually probably going to see a downward move for NVIDIA if that can hold negative. That being said, we're very far away from the weekly expected move. I know that a lot of people are upset, so I'm just going to tell you right now that weekly expected move is right around 850. Okay? So the fact that we cross down, if this actually can break this low, and then we get bad CPI news or something like that, 850 is what to target. All right, pretty simple. Now, if this is going to just continue, then we're most likely going to want to pay attention to a 2-hour. We got to see this 2-hour turn up into positive territory. That's going to mean major positivity is coming. That's going to be where the CPI is good news, and we might see a squeeze for NVIDIA. So maybe I can look at, a lot of calls coming into the market this morning. So 2-hour curls up, positive territory. That's when we see the next big move. But if the 30-minute stays rotated down, can go negative here, cut through this low, you might head towards 850. AMD, this one here, touched in that zone, just like we said. And then boom, maybe we get that 2-hour to rotate back up. So we have to see if this 2-hour is able to curl up into positive territory. The only problem here is the 30-minute. It is still negative, but it's right by that positive territory. I mean, like it pretty much is. And you even have divergence at this level now. You have flatness of the RSI. You have an upward move on the MACD. So there's actually divergence at this level, and this might be the only pullback you get. All right, Meta going forward. This thing dropping off a little bit more. 30 minutes been very, very beat up. Able to go negative, so you're seeing another drop down. What do we want to pay attention to? The 2-hour. Or maybe even an hourly at this point. The hourly getting very close to that center line. If we see that positivity come in, boom, we can see a big positive move. Very worried about tomorrow's price action. And that's why we're going to talk about AMC and GameStop, because that might be more obvious than the actual stock market, actually. Microsoft, what do we see here? Well, an hourly divergence. You guys know I like my 30 minutes, but that means the 30-minute divergence is going to be there. 2-hour divergence as well. You have a 2-hour divergence at this level. Okay, 2-hour divergence for this level here. So if that wants to rotate down, that can roll over the daily. That can roll over the daily. If you get bad news, we can see this roll over and go negative and break through this maybe. Or maybe at least test this lower, go make a new one, and then we'll have to see if something happens from there. But overall, Microsoft looks like that 2-hour divergence could hold here. We'll see what happens in this first hour, and Jerome Powell talks soon, so we'll see what happens. But overall, he's probably going to be very fluffy about the banks, and I'd be very, very cautious about any downside. Google, what's paying attention to here? Well, the 2-hour or the daily just crossed. So if this holds as crossing, no reason to really take calls here, except we do get CPI the next day. And whether you want to trust the data or not, we are going to react because of price. And what do we notice here? Well, we have a big cup, we have a big handle, and it looks like if we go positive, we might actually see Google make a strong move. So we'll pay attention to these things, but the market behavior isn't the best right now. So it's very confusing because of the data, because of that previous data just dramatically changing. And we see that all the time in the jobs numbers, and nobody really pays attention to it, but people will pay attention to it with PPI, and that's why I think we're seeing this major buyback right now. I'm going to click back over. I'm just going to make sure I'm watching AMC. AMC topped out right around $12. Is going down to 9.24 as of right now. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Netflix, what's happening with it? Well, Netflix was actually down a little bit, I think, in the pre-market. And now we're seeing another rise up. Just pay attention. This could cross down at any point. You do have major divergences at these levels. Okay, major divergences at these levels. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. Let's talk about volatility for a second. Volatility, it did have, this is what I was talking about in my video last night. The 30-minute divergences, you can see them on the 15. You see these flat divergences here. So it actually telling you like, hey, volatility can subside. But when you look at a 2-hour, it just went positive. Okay, so it went positive yesterday. So you have a flip of a coin pretty much now. You have as far as volatility goes, it goes, is it going to remain and the 2 hours going to go up? Or is the 15 or 30-minute divergence going to rotate this back down and we see some kind of divergence or something like that? And I think the divergence play is most likely going to play out here. But we'll have to see from this. Okay, we'll have to see. Now the yields, I wanted to talk about these as well. What happened going on in this morning? Well, we saw those yields go up. Why? Because the PPI is very hot. Very, very hot. That is a 0.5 increase. That is not a good thing. It's supposed to come in at 0.2 or 0.3, came in at 0.5. So that is not a good thing. But then you read into the PPI from last month getting completely changed from 1.8 to negative 0.1. and that is going to cause this to drop. So TLT buying back up here. TLT buying back up here. All right, cup and handle. Cup, handle. We can head higher from this move. But is that going to be short-lived? We'll talk about that going on throughout today. The dollar starting to drop off dramatically. People are buying into this move. Now we are still at elevated levels, so those insiders still holding as of right now, a little bit selly. But this is rotating down into negative territory, and we can see a negative move here. Okay, which means the market can go up from this area. Okay, rejection at our 105.65, 105.65, and now we can start to head down from here. So, Russell volatility, HYG. This thing has not really popped higher. I mean, up 0.08, no confirmation for upside, but you can see cup and handle, so it's there. If this crosses up into positive territory, we're most likely going to see positivity in the market. The Dow, a lot of people telling me, commenting to me, emailing me, messaging me, saying, oh, the Dow is topping, the Dow is topping. I look at YouTubers saying the Dow is topping, the Dow is topping. And you could be right. Problem is, we're still in positive territory and we get confusing data, and that's the whole point. They don't want you to have an edge at all. And now we're going to see that tick up most likely. We'll see. But positive territory, that's why I'm saying most likely, because I have to talk about this in positive context. I'm kind of trying to ignore the data and just look at the charts. And as of right now, what's happening? Well, positive territory can take us up for a touch of this big trend. As you can see, we reacted outside of that for a moment. And then this is where we said double top live. We were like, oh, this is a big double top. Very, very good signal there. But as of right now, we could make an upward move, create some kind of divergence again at this level, get a triple divergence. And you're seeing the really downward move on the RSI. So this move looking ugly, good form of weakness here. But I just want you to be aware the opportunity is, okay, if this crosses up and goes positive, that might be good for a moment, and then that might be ripped away. Now, if this just rolls negative right now, you're kind of right by that center line. So that could just roll down. IWM starting to buy back up, so I'm guessing AMC is buying back up, and people got to keep me aware if that is being halted right now. Okay, so we're going to go back over to the SPY and watch this for a moment and wait, and I'll see if you guys really want me to talk about AMC and GME. I do have some points here that I do have. Lucas will have better luck with earnings. I'm not, and it's not that I have bad luck, I just feel bad. I feel bad for people because they read the charts, right? The charts told you about the weakness. We looked into the data. The data said, hey, PPI is going to come in higher, CPI is going to come in lower. We have everyone paying attention to CPI, and people read into the data and they read the charts, and it's like it should be going down. And so I feel bad for the people who took big plays here to the downside, and then that just totally gets rigged because some data's wrong, and we should not get that data if it's going to be wrong. And I might make a whole video about that. But Powell speech coming in a few minutes, that could further confuse the market. Exactly. So that's the point of the government at this point. That's the point of the big money. That's the point of the government, is to confuse you. All right, let's talk about AMC. And mainly I'm going to talk about AMC, and you can take this assessment with AMC to heart with GME as far as the technicals go. So I went back and researched a lot of what happened with AMC, especially after the big jump. Okay, after the big jump, especially after the big jump for GME, and I paid attention to what AMC was doing after its big jump. But GME, when it went to about $40, which I believe it's higher now, correct? Yeah, GME at 55.69. So what I wanted to talk about here is there's one simple signal, very, very simple. And the reason I'm going to tell you about it is because of what happened with PPI today. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and this could happen, it could not, but I'm going to tell you the point where you could say the next really, really big move is coming. Okay, I'm talking about the signal that happened before AMC went to what, 200, whatever it was, went to $300 or something like that. I'm going to tell you what the signal was, and it's a 30-minute chart. Okay, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but there's some points I wanted to get to first. Okay, the first point I wanted to get to, as far as watching AMC and GME and the data is actually adding to this point this morning. I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. And Ryan, yeah, we're going to talk about it right now, and I'm going to show you the signal that I found the last time that this big move happened for GME and AMC. So first of all, they halt trading, which causes selling. Then it causes rapid selling the next day because everyone's worried that's just going to lock down again. And zero-day DTE people or people who just want to make some quick money will be selling, day traders, scalping, and things like that. That's going to happen in every single stock. So I'm going to talk about earnings too, actually, a little bit, in a way. But we're going to talk about this. So what is the mentality of the average person out there right now? And not even in a trading perspective. I want you to think of the people around you if you consider yourself an average person. I still consider myself an average person. I don't have $1 million in the bank or anything like that. I don't have $1 million in the bank or anything like that. And I still experience inflation and things like that. So what is the mentality of the average person? And it is a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not being... it is a get-rich-quick. And it's risking. That's why I'm not going to tell you, like, throw your whole house at this or something. Throw your life savings. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a way that you can make money and hopefully take it away from some big boys. If this signal does happen, I will be putting a small amount into this. I won't be putting some big position. I probably will put $500 to $1,000 into this. I'm not going to be taking a big position. But what is the mentality of the average person? Do you think that the average person is pissed off because they can't buy a house? Do you think that the average person is pissed off because inflation is high and they have to pay a lot for groceries? Do you think the average person is pissed off because PPI data comes out and then a month later it changes and that affects the current PPI reading because now we can't trust the data? What do you guys think? I would say yes. I would say the average person is angry out there. The person who is seeing the wages, seeing that the stock market looks like this while wage increase, they convince you looks like this, and then you zoom out and it actually compared to the stock market, it looks like this. There's your wage increase. So the average person is pissed off. Okay, we can note that. All right, the average person is pissed off. I want you to think about that. Check. All right. Now let's talk about something else. Let's talk about, is the short squeeze opportunity there? Is the short squeeze opportunity there? Should we boycott paying taxes? I believe so. That's actually a point that I made last week. But you can't. They're just going to crush you. So I want to talk about this. AMC. Let's look at the short interest right now. Mainly I want to pay attention to this. The short percentage of float, 20.13. This is squeeze potential. Sometimes you need this to be up towards 30%. But the last time that this AMC environment happened, I believe it was up towards 18%. And we are actually higher than that right now. So is a squeeze potential in this move? Is a bigger squeeze potential there? Yes, it is. And we're going to go over the technicals in a moment of what to do. But and you have time. Trust me, you have time. You don't want to try to hop in today when things are going crazy. And Mark, we will get back to gold. We're just going to talk about AMC and GME. Is the squeeze potential there? Yes. Yes, it is. Big hedge funds are... I don't want to say that. Big hedge funds are idiots. They are trying to short it again. And I told you, there's no way they make the same mistake twice. And then I said, but that's me saying it's different this time. And we know that anytime someone says it's different this time, a lot of the time they're wrong when it comes to stocks. So is the squeeze potential here? Yes, it is. You have volume, you have major volume coming in, and you have a short percentage of float at 20.13%. The squeeze potential is there to go to crazy high levels, actually. If they really want to double down and hurt the hedge funds, they can do it. All right, now that we know that, we'll check that off. All right, cool. Boom. We know that the squeeze potential is there. Awesome. Okay, now let's talk about AMC, and someone mentioned earnings. Now let's talk about earnings. So people were saying, oh, watch out for earnings. It's going to be bad. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Why? Because the mentality. Okay, so we have the mentality. We have the squeeze potential. And now you could say, oh, well, earnings, or are they profitable, or how are they doing? I'm going to tell you right now, I watched the breakdown. I looked through this gentleman who I'm probably going to ask to do a video with if AMC makes this big, massive move. I'm probably going to interview him and put out a YouTube video about it, because the data that he was showing, which we're not going to go into, it's going to take way too long. And we need to look at stocks after this. I'm already dedicating some time to this. Here's the thing. So actually, at the time when AMC made that crazy move, let's say the how the company was performing, let's just call that 100%. Okay? So you're probably wondering, how is that company performing as of right now? I think it's at 250%. So it's actually doing a lot better. AMC is actually doing a lot better, and that's why I said I actually believe it is undervalued at 278. AMC actually is doing a lot better, and I want you to keep that in mind. So what would that cause? Well, if a stock is undervalued, which way is it supposed to go? Well, Warren Buffett would say it would be a buy. So that's a check. All right? So actually, looking into it, looks like AMC actually is not doing as bad as it was when the last squeeze happened. It's actually doing pretty good. I mean, if you want to consider it, it's doing about twice as good. So that's something to keep in mind. And the other point was, is it undervalued? Yes, I do believe so, based on all these. Based on this right here. So it's undervalued. I feel like NVIDIA goes to 1160, then plummets. That's so random. I did, and I just sold at 100% profit. Congratulations, Richard. That's what we want to see. Now we're going to get into the technical side, okay? We're going to get into the technical. So this is when you can take a play on this move. Okay, this is when once again, I'm not encouraging you to take a play on AMC or GME. I'm not going to do that. I'm not ever someone who tells you to buy, tells you to sell. I'm going to tell you a signal that I found the last time that this happened, and they halted trading and people got scared and it started to sell off for a day or two, and then it exploded higher over the next couple weeks. All right, I'm going to show you that signal. It's very, very simple. 30-minute crosses down on the MACD, and then we're going to base out for a little bit, just a little bit, and that's going to sell out. Now, this is if it performs the same as last time, guys. If it performs the same as last time. So all it did one time, the 30-minute MACD curled down, did not get close to the center line, had a few red impressions, and then got one small confirmation. And this looked like this. Flat price, slightly up, flat price, slightly up, one tiny bar like this. Every bar after that was an explosion. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that right now. And we are in an environment where things can squeeze across the board. We're technically still in that, short squeeze environment right now in the overall market, but that is the only signal you have to pay attention to for GME. If that happens, I will place a buy for $500, and I'm just telling you that. That's me. I'm not encouraging you to do it. I'm not telling you to throw a bunch of money at it. I'm not saying to do anything like that. I'm saying that if there's any potential in any way that I can give an FU to rich people at this point, I'm going to do it. And so if that happens, I'm taking it. Now, I'm treating this as a trader. I'm also treating this as a stick it to the man type thing. And that's just my decision, my personal decision. You guys can agree with that or not. I do not really care. But if we see some selling off here and we curl down on this 30-minute MACD for a second, and then we curl back up, I am going to buy into this move, and that's all I want to say. I'm not encouraging you to do it. I'm not using a big amount. I'm probably just going to do a very, very small amount, less than almost like a hedge. Almost like a hedge in case it happens. That's it. I am talking about AMC, yes. And this actually happened on GME as well. The same exact signal happened on GME as well. GME, it beat down dramatically, got near the 20, went flat, and then you got one green bar like this, a very small green bar that crossed the MACD, and you're in positive territory. The MACD looked like this. It did not go down towards the center line, and then that crossed, and the crossing actually was when the big bar happened. So I'm looking for a positive bar. If we do go flat, I'm looking for the exact same signal, and then I will be convinced and I will get into this move. And that is me, not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying that is the signal that I found. And if that plays out, then I will go into the move. This could just start to happen. But as we go look at GME, let's see if that's happening for GME. The same exact signal happened for GME. GME actually did curl down on its 30-minute MACD. It curled down. It went down to about, I think it went from 30 at the time when it happened. It actually went down to about 18. And then it based out like this and just curled up. And it only took like a day or two for that to happen. And then boom, the next move came and that thing skyrocketed to $100. So I just want to show you guys that there is a way to look at technicals in this move actually. And I think this is going to just be very simple. Anytime that this MACD curls up into positive territory, the next big move can come. What do I always say with other charts? Well, it beats down. And then that curls up, positive territory, we take out the high, we go make a new one. I don't care how high the new high is. I'm just saying the last time we squeezed, that's what happened. And so if that signal pops up, I will be in this move. As far as AMC goes, because AMC is the one that I researched and I saw the numbers. And as far as is this performing better than it was in 2021? Yes, AMC is. All right, cool. Now let's go look across the board. Let's get back to stocks. I'm going to keep that up on my left screen. Those are pretty much all the points I wanted to make. And the thing is, the problem that I have right now, in gold looking like, hey, crossing up positive territory looks like a big move could come. We could get some kind of divergence. This could be not necessarily cup and handle at this area, but we could see some kind of divergence pop its head up right around this area. We'll pay attention to that. But positive territory, what happens to positive territory? We just crossed up positive territory, test the high, go make a new one. We'll see if that's able to happen. It's a little bit deep, right? So we have to talk a little about a lower high. But you can see that's a strong move. We're taking back this level, right? That's very cool. It's cool to see market behavior. It's cool to see market behavior like this, where we know this level is important, so they gap it above it. And now that strength can come in. So why is that important? The sellers can't step in at that 217.21. I would take any trades to end of day. This is trap day. Yeah, and I'm just saying, after the initial push higher by about 200%, there was a 30-minute curl down because of halting, and then they opened it back up, and that's what caused AMC and GME to sell off on the 30-minute. But once that was stopped, boom, a big move came. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. I'll have it up on my left screen a lot this morning. So shrink this down so I can see it. All right, that is up on my screen, and we got you guys and AMC up. Cool. We'll pay attention to that. All right, so gold looks like another big move could come. Now we want to see how the stock market is performing. Well, look at this. Stock market's going up, and now we're seeing it kind of like, it's not the most excited going up because there should be selling in this move. So most likely this is a trap, by the way. Most likely this is going to be a trap. I'm just going to say that right away. I mean, PPI went up by 0.5. Like, this is kind of ridiculous, but. What's Jerome Powell saying right now? I don't care. I don't care. I'm watching stock market behavior from this point right here. The data, yeah, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to react to it, but I'm just reacting to price at this point. I don't think that the data is even worth paying attention to. I would even stay away from data at this point is what I would say, because it's looking ugly and I would just pay attention to my signals. That's what I'm going to do. Can I look at Reddit? Yeah, I can. Reddit here, going to see a big buy up here. It's obviously, I mean, that's going to start to skyrocket as well. Now, you could experience weakness in this area, so if you sell off, this could be your 30-minute pullback, and we'll see. So what do you want to see from here? Is this the best place to invest, take a trade? No, it's not. So you can see that drop down, curl back up. What do we like to see? This get to the center line. But if this wants to have craziness like GME or like AMC, because that's most likely why we're seeing these crazy things happen here, well, then that would pull down for a brief moment, curl back up. Anytime you curl back up in positive territory is when I'd say the next move is coming. Yeah, I'm pretty much just going to do $500 at it. Miles. It feels trappy. If you can't trust the data, the technicals kind of go out the window. Not true. Not true. Not true. Because what's happening with Meta? What's happening with Meta? So what I would say is individual names will still react based on their technicals. What are we seeing here? Meta needed to break down a little bit more. What is my data? There it is. I'm not throwing the data out the window. I'm still going to pay attention to the data, but the reaction to the data is obviously more important. We still preach that all the time. We still preach that all the time. Trying to figure out what to do with this. I might as well keep. Yeah, we can still pay attention. It's just I'm going to strictly follow the technicals. They are not thrown out the window by any means because of that. In my opinion. Happy Friday. And yeah, okay. We're in consensus. Sorry, I didn't have the chat up. Happy Friday. Yeah, I think individual names you can still read into the technicals, but the SPY is just going to do SPY things. Now, what can we pay attention to? Let's see that XLU. I think XLU is something to pay attention to here for actually some kind of crash. Remember, XLU seeing a dramatic uptick. If that sees selling at any point, I'd be very worried for a stock market crash. Now, you might ask yourself, will GME and AMC go down and not get the short squeeze in a stock market crash? I actually don't think so. I think you have two things going on for AMC and GME, which is people are effing pissed, right? People want to stick it to the man type attitude is what I see across the board. And they're not necessarily good traders. They're not traders who care about it. They're mostly people who are like, I'm holding this to cause rich people to lose money. So do I think AMC and GME can still see a squeeze, even if I see some crash signals like XLU actually dropping down and crossing down below this MACD, which if you didn't know, yesterday we were talking about XLU, right? Utilities here. And the last time that crossed on the MACD is just a brief moment. It crossed on the MACD, saw a dip down, crossed on this MACD to the upside after a big surge. This is a sign of some kind of weakness coming because this happens before big crashes. But we'll see if that crash is going to come. As of right now, if this would cross on this MACD, it's like the next day the SPY does it. It's like 2 days later the SPY does it. So you don't want to read too much into that. You don't ever want to pay attention to just like one signal and say, this is the signal that's going to cause the crash. No, but this is something to read into. We went back, we showed you that stuff. We showed you that stuff over the weekend. If you want to go look at that video and actually look at, unemployment and things like that, that's when I was, at the same time those things were happening. XLU was seeing this big move up, and then it just crossed down. So this is a crash signal at this point if this would cross down on this MACD. Google did cross down on the daily, so this one's a little worrisome to the downside here as far as today goes. We'll have to see if that actually completes, because right now, what do you see? Kind of a big cup and handle. So I'd really be paying attention to a 2-hour crossing up into positive territory. And just for a brief moment, guys, I didn't get coffee this morning. I was really trying to look into the data and formulate how I want to talk about this. And I will, JW, right now. And then I'm going to go get a coffee, okay? So we're going to look at KO and then go get a coffee real quick. But yeah, so whatever Jerome Powell says is garbage to me, because it's like, do I want to listen to the snake at this point? We're still going to watch him. We're still going to pay attention to how the market behaves with him. But do I even care what he says at this point? No. Here's what I care about. Banks are going to fail. Banks are going to fail. Rates are going to drop dramatically. TLT is going to scream higher. And we are most likely going to see a stock market crash soon. But I have to play their game until that moment happens. Do you understand that? Do you understand how it's not, or they are mutually exclusive a little bit? Two things can be true at the same time. We're going to crash probably in the next year, but over the next 12 months, we're actually close to uninversion too. Like, it's not like far off to say we're going to uninvert, but that can take 6 to 18 months to actually prove itself in stocks. He's just a puppet. Exactly, and I don't like puppet shows. I hate clowns. I've hated them since I was little. I hate puppets. I've hated those since I was little. So Powell is a piece of garbage, and I'm going to be very, very clear about that, and you most likely will see some a rant video from me very, very soon. I look at charts. Same. You know what the charts told me about Meta, about Amazon? They said a pullback was coming, a dramatic pullback was coming, and look at that. Great trade. This, if I did it correctly, great trade. Microsoft, great trade. All right, guys, I'm going to go get coffee real quick, and I will be right back, all right? Be right back. I'm going to leave you guys on the spy for a brief moment, and I'll be right back in a couple minutes. We're back. I got my coffee. All right, SPY making an upward move. We got to talk about this from a technical perspective. I will still have AMC up on my other screen. But we have to talk about this from a technical perspective from right now. we can't really take it from a fundamental perspective, I think, because we're just going to get lied to at this point. So if we pay attention to the technicals here, we know what is going to happen. All right. We know what is going to happen, and you have to be quick with it sometimes, right? Sometimes it can flip very, very quickly, right? Sometimes we can see some kind of pop higher, and then we get this to cross on the MACD, but we're immediately overbought, and then that turns right back down. So we have to be very quick with it, okay? Would I say the huge reward here is to the upside? Not necessarily at this point. I think we did not get a big enough pullback, but that doesn't matter if I think it, because if this 2 hour is able to rotate back up, we're going to see some positivity here, but you're very, very overbought. We could squeeze and things like that. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. Second option, puts on Amazon 182.50, or am I crazy? Don't do any trades to the end of the day, please. Or October, May 25th over. Do not stress about New York Stock Exchange. It's a dinosaur and soon to evolve. Ukraine soldiers raising the white flag by the groove, saying we are done. Will this be the end of NATO? If so, how will the market react? Probably sense. Technical perspective, okay? If anything really, really bad happens geopolitically, this is what you have to pay attention to for a crash. You're asking, is it really, really bad? So I'm going to assume you're talking about in a crash narrative. One thing I wanted to point out here, we are riding the 5 up, so this can be positive. I'm going to talk about if something really bad happens and this crosses down on the MACD, that's when you can be a little bit more worried about a crash at this point. I am going to keep my volatility play 100% right now. I am not going to sell out of that by any means, but I will be paying attention to any kind of drop in AMC and accumulating some of that if something crazy is going to happen. So what could happen from here? They really try to clamp down. They really try to convince you that the game is over, and then it's not. So that's what I would say as far as that goes. But if you're talking about a crash, geopolitically, any geopolitical news, if that's going to affect the market, I would just say pay attention to the technicals. I'm going to be a very hard ass on paying attention to technicals now, because apparently data doesn't mean anything, and data will just be changed into whatever benefit to manipulate the current data. I don't even believe that we were negative on the PPI. I don't even believe the last one was negative. Yes, exactly, JS. And like the thing is, JS, I know that, but usually they don't make it that obvious, so it doesn't make you sick to your stomach. I woke up this morning, and my wife can tell you I was very quiet. I didn't do much. I was just looking at stuff, and I was like, it made me sick to my stomach. It genuinely made me sick. Like, I was like, this is just disgusting. And what are we seeing here? Okay, 15-minute, triple divergence. If this rotates down, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The price of the stock is going to go down. The price of the SPYs should go down from here, according to the technicals. If this can roll negative, now we do have CPI in the morning, and that's when the next manipulation can happen. Oh yeah, KO. I'm sorry about that, J-Dubs. Look at Coca-Cola here for a second. Whoa, dropping off dramatically. Okay, so where you would want to talk about this move is, this is a scale-in position for someone like myself. You see all these turndowns. This is one where with this behavior, I would know, okay, I need to take a month out, and I just wait for a little crossing. So first position here, second position here on this bar, and then third position would be right here. And then that would be a full scaled in move at that point. And I would be very confident with that needing a pullback on the 2 hour. So this is a very good move. Most likely there's going to be a strong downward move here, by the way. 2 hour has just crossed. So most likely this is going, ooh, and there's divergence. This is actually a very good play. Okay, this is a very good month out play. Coca-Cola showing major weakness here, crossing down on the MACD. Now note, this isn't something on a 2 hour chart. You don't want to be like, okay, this has to happen by Friday. No, this is why we teach this in the course. It is better to take at least 2 weeks to even 2 months out, right? That's a lot of what I say, 2 weeks to 2 months out. If you think the move is going to happen quickly, you can do 2 weeks, but that's a little riskier. I like to do about a month out. That's pretty much what I did with volatility. I think I did 3 weeks out or something like that with my volatility play. And I'm going to hold on to that guy. I don't really care. I said I would lose $1,000 for it. So right now, this here crossing down, that is a big divergence at the same time. Let's go look at the daily scale here. Daily scale, what are we doing? We're screaming higher, we're screaming higher, we're screaming higher. Okay, so this could rotate back down because of that 2-hour divergence. And we actually could see in a month from now, pay attention to that. I'm saying in a month from now, this could drop off dramatically, right? Maybe it drops off even more dramatically than that, right? This is a pretty big buying up. Maybe that thing needs to test the 50 or go test the 200. Not necessarily big moves here for Coca-Cola, though, right? I mean, you could consider it a big move, but I mean, with what the stock market is doing, like 10%, you could probably end up 10% down over the next 30 to 60 days. I will say that. Beware of puts right now. And I'd be cautious, but things like Coca-Cola, a little different than things like the SPY, right? A little different. So I really want to keep my eye on XLU. I really want to keep my eye on utilities. I mean, I'm just being genuine. I want to pay attention to this because this is the signal you see before big crashes. Every single time, utilities scales up very dramatically, and then once that crosses down, right, the market starts to top out and we crash down over like a week later. So, Powell said inflation is under control. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. Pay attention to the technicals. I don't give a shit what he says anymore. That is a lie. Pay attention to the technicals. If he's going to give you another upward move, it is going to prove itself in the technicals. It's not going to prove itself in the most clear way, and should you take a trade with it? No. But if we are going to see another upward move, this 2-hour is going to cross up on this MACD. If we are going to see another upward move, this 15-minute is not going to be able to prove a negative trend. Okay? Right now, he is telling you that, but there is a negative trend very, very possible here, and I want you to be aware of that. Okay? This is what you see with some kind of triple top. But this could also be a cup and handle. So I'm saying if this goes negative, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity for the probabilities to be with you for some kind of downward move. But if this does not do that, let's say it rolls down for a brief moment, rolls right back up, you have to be quick with it. Rolls down, rolls back up. No reason to take shorts. You should be selling out of your position at that point. Volatility. He's taking Q&A and he's moving the market. Well, this market's about to crash down in about, I give it 30 more minutes. If these technicals prove, I'm going to say that we're going to go a lot lower, but then we have to watch out for CPI and pay attention there. So these technicals here lead me to believe that the 2-hour needs to get closer to that center line. That's all I'm going to say. I think we need to get closer to that center line, but just because I think it doesn't mean I can't react to the overall market. Is AMC as short as GME? I wasn't able to do much research on GME because like it took me forever. I was researching AMC for about 3 hours. I was up till about 2:30 a.m. researching it before I went to bed. AMC is a better company than it was during the last squeeze. AMC has more short interest float than the last time that it was shorted. So, yes, the squeeze can happen. All you want to pay attention to is CVIA. I'm going to tell you exactly what you pay attention to. There is one signal for your opportunity, one signal, and it is a technical signal. Pull up a 30-minute chart, pull up a MACD. When that crosses down on the MACD, don't do anything. Once you see that curl up and give you one green impression on the histogram for AMC, that is the signal that I found that happened on GME and AMC, okay? Think Trump is Black Swan. By the way, DJT, let's look at that. Remember, we told you these technicals here didn't look the best. Someone was coming in saying, oh, it's going to squeeze like today. These technicals don't look good. They do not look good, okay? Now, they look good from this could go positive and we could see an upward move. But this here screamed weakness. We got the weakness. Now we have to see if this 2-hour is going to complete. It completed. But notice it's kind of wonky, so you could get another 30-minute divergence. This is why I take month-out plays, because I can scale into moves. And then if this goes ballistic, I'm not going to be hurt too bad by that. So I'd pay attention to a little 30-minute or maybe even a 15-minute. Let's look at a 15-minute. Yeah, 15-minute. If you create another point of divergence here and that crosses down, good opportunity, good potential for DJT to actually break down. Maybe to that price point of about $45, right? This support level about $45. That's what I'd say about DJT. And by the way, I voted for Trump. I'm voting for Trump again. And I think that Biden is one of the worst things that happened to our country. And I will definitely be voting for Trump this time. Kind of tired of being afraid to tell people that. So I'm going to start telling people that. Trump's policies were good, and that is why I voted for him. Not because I'm some Trump lover or Trump fanatic. Nope. I liked his policies. That's why I voted for him the first time. And since he had good policies last time, I'm going to say he will have good policies this time. Did Powell speak today? I thought it was just PPU report. Powell did speak today. He's speaking about banks. But note this. The market is not going to crash. I mean, unless Jerome Powell actually does something to fix the market, that would cause a crash, but he is not going to do that. He is going to talk fluffy about banks. We are most likely going to see this turn down, and then we are going to see the 2-hour rotate back up once it gets close to the center line. Powell will allow the craziness continue. He does not want to lose his job. He loves the power that he's in. Look how much power he has. You guys, he has power over everyone in the stock market. You think a guy like him wants to give that up? No. Sus. Marcus, he just said inflation is under control. Oh, inflation's under control. All right, let's see. Could be. Oh, it could be. But yeah. It's not. They're pumping more money into the system. We're probably going to, if he says inflation's under control, we get some kind of correction here, and then we end up higher over the next 10 years, that's perfectly fine. Just means that we're probably going to be like, what, Japan? Literally, we're doing what Japan did. I want to point that out. We're doing what Japan did. You guys remember when Japan experienced like hyperinflation because they weren't willing to stop borrowing? That's what we're doing right now. Spy dumping. Wow. It's almost like I said that we would crash in the next 30 minutes. And I truly believe that. And that's why I'm being very obvious about it. And I'm not being a douche and saying I have a magic crystal ball. It's just that's what the technicals were telling me. This looks like a triple top. What do you think about the end of the year price target for Bitcoin? Now, that's one thing I wanted to look into, but I got really tired. I wanted to look at Bitcoin during the time of AMC. Bitcoin was something interesting because a lot of people from AMC and things like that, they shortly after shorting AMC and things like that, they tried to short like a bunch of Bitcoin stuff or something like that. And Bitcoin, actually, that's when a big move happened, I believe. So we'll see. Let me pull this back. Am I on a daily? Okay, we have to go way back. Okay. So you'll notice 2021, similar timing, right? Similar timing. So actually, I think Bitcoin, if it does want that squeeze, if they try to short anything with Bitcoin, I think that the apes and things like that, after doing their thing with AMC and GME, will then maybe rotate into crypto. But I'm paying attention to the signals right now. The signals are negative. Bitcoin is in a negative trend. Bitcoin is in a negative trend, okay? So that could dip down all the way to this 200. And I've been leaning towards that for a little bit, but we'll have to see from there. Does it go positive? Once it goes positive, I will start to talk positively about it. The tanking of the market is a trap, and it looks like we'll be back by the end of the day. Nope. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I truly believe that I am with the probabilities here. The momentum is very, very weak. We just got bad PPI data, and just because some guy with white hair and crusty liver spots all over his body says something does not mean that the stocks will head higher from here. Now, if I am proven wrong, that's perfectly fine. What'll happen? Well, this might be brief, and it will be a trap. What can I pay attention to from here, SD Hodl, is if that curls back up into positive territory. If this curls down and then curls back up, the problem here is triple divergence very close. A divergence here is very unlikely, so that's probably going to be a big move. That's what I'm going to pay attention to for a trap. Right now, this is the trap. Don't be afraid, we voted for him too. Let's make America great again. Yes. The funny part about Biden is his whole build back better thing. Now Trump has to actually come in and build back better. Well, who was talking about it yesterday? Someone came in and said something very good, and I loved how they said it. The market, the retail traders are right now being conditioned to like bad data. And I just talked about, I really highly encourage you to watch I think it was Sunday's video, where we talked about, and I posted, CPI isn't the thing that is going to crash the market. CPI is not the thing. It's going to be bank failures that then cause unemployment. Bank failures that cause unemployment. And unemployment has risen, and every time in history that it has risen and bottomed out before the market has really topped, what have we seen? Maybe a few months go by, and then that thing ticks up a little bit more. People are convinced unemployment's good. Unemployment's going up while people are buying into that. And then eventually, unemployment takes over, market tanks. I've already mind you, he'll be coming into a really bad economy by the time he takes office, and we will have to fix a lot of broken crap. Very true. Funny Trump, imagine the market if when Trump gets back in office, happy days are here again. Well, the market actually, here's the thing about Trump. If he's actually going to be a good businessman, he will see that this is very sick, and we actually will hopefully remain. And I'm saying that hopefully for the state of average workers out there, not traders, guys. The real workers out there are the construction workers and the people who are really keeping the infrastructure together, your plumbers and everyone like that. In order to make their livelihood better, in order to make the livelihood of, just the average family or poor families out there to get back to where we need to be, he would not care what happens with the market, and he needs to do what is best for the American people. And that would be a deflationary event has to happen in order to bring down the inflation. Now, I hope he helps and does it in the best way possible. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. He has a bunch of help with that. But at this point, you would say something like that. What do I believe? I believe that we should stop giving money to the government. I believe that we should have a flat tax rate. I believe across the board, just flat tax rate. I don't think we should give tax incentives. I don't think we should do anything like that. You pay taxes. It's fine. You pay a solid percentage. That way it's obvious. It's not this crazy whole deal that the IRS knows and you don't, and then they come after you. And a lot of Democrats would disagree, and they say we need more IRS workers, and I don't believe that. What do I think would really fix the whole country and start a new age of good Americans? I think we have to remake the education system. I think the education system needs to be free market, and I can decide what my kids are going to learn based on what that school is teaching. For my positions, the problem is, okay, I'm going to tell you something crazy, though. So you're talking about the market being healthy. This is all debt. This is all debt until we get to this white line. I'm being genuine about that, by the way. This is all debt until we get to this white line. So if you want the market to be healthy, this is where it's actually healthy. Is like 156. This I have a daughter now too. That's why I'm really been thinking about the education system lately. Like, we teach people like, it's just so dumb. Like, how about we have a free market system, because every free market system is better than the government. Every single one. This is where the market is healthy again. Papa Caps. So I appreciate the fact that you want the market to be good. Like, I do, and I want it to be good too. I don't want to see America doing bad or anything like that. But this is what a healthy market would look like, and that's where we would have to start to build back better and ebb and flow and not go like this all the time. It will be, oh, okay, this is it. Oh, things are overvalued. Okay. Oh, this is okay. Now we're going this prosperity time. Oh, now we're going through a war or something like that. It would be a lot more previous-like behavior. And if you want to argue, we're probably in debt over here, honestly. So in order for the market to be healthy again and actually be a market that flows and does not cause hyperinflation later on, we would have to go down to 156, in my opinion. And that's crazy to say, and people probably watching this are like, I'm getting the hell out of here. This channel's crazy, but that's the truth, and I'm sorry about it, but that's how it is. That's the only thing that fixes it, and the world is going to be a very scary place if that happens, unless someone like Trump can do it in a better way, because in my mind, I just see a scary, scary world. They place a call for 517, 1250, or January 2025 call 27 if AMC were to go, hypothetically speaking. NFI, are you talking about the ticker NFI? But would someone make more money if they placed a call for 517 at 1250 or January 2025 at 27? First of all, you have to make sure that someone is willing to buy the position most of the time. So sometimes even if your position is good, you have to be able to sell it. That's happened to me before, actually, where I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. This penny stock looks good. No one bought my position. And I was like, shit. As long as you're above that price, though, you know, you're probably good. I would say this. If you are looking for a play, I would look about 2 months out. I think 2 months out, you're not going to have to spend a bunch of money. If that moment comes, guys, you still have to wait for this to form. Right now, we're seeing AMC tear down to $9 again. So that 30-minute is starting to crack a little bit. Darwin, I was an independent who switched to Republican for Trump prior to his first term. The thing that concerns me about him now is that he is starting to advocate for abortion in places like Arizona. Abortion is one of the dumbest things that you could do. It causes depression in women. It causes society to think that there are no consequences for your action. And it causes men to become just people who treat women like objects even more, and then it causes women to treat themselves as objects as well. So now I'm still a free market guy, but I think that's exactly what we should do with abortion. You guys want to know my stance on abortion? My stance on abortion is make it a free market business. And do you know what happened the last time they made a free market business? It failed because there is no market for abortion. The free market solves all problems. If there is no market value according to the market, the people who us, the whole nation, then the business goes away. Kind of like horse and buggies. Why did those go away? Well, because the market decided cars were better. I'm not saying, hey, I'm going to clamp down and say, get rid of it. I'm not okay with that. I'm saying, make it a business. Make it a real business. Yeah, I'm kind of sick to of all this crap today, so I'm down to be honest. A starter home in my city in Canada is 500K. We definitely need deflation, and that's what I'm saying. We're probably going to go through a massive deflationary event. And Jerome Powell's not going to tell you when that's happening, just so you know. If you're expecting Jay Powell to be like, all right, guys, we are going into recession now, and then the stock market goes down the next day, it's not going to happen. W for being real with you. Hell yeah. I'm never going to be fake to you guys, you know? I'll tell you what I think. And I'm sorry, all it was some data today that really tipped me over the scale. I'm like, we have data that is obviously rigged. And then you at the same time have AMC trying to do something like that, or you have GME trying to do something where they can stick it to some rich people. And I'm down. That is a good mixture to get Luke a little pissed. Just found you, just subscribed. You're definitely my tribe. And here's the thing. If you are coming and you see GME AMC and you're someone that's coming for that or anything like that, if you're going to subscribe, just note that I am still a big believer in learning, right? The important thing to do is learn in a market like this. I'm just a little bit on edge. I'm a little bit fight mode, but pretty much what I wanted to say was, if you're new to this channel, you're joining because AMC or GME or anything like that, I want you to understand I'm very big on learning the technicals and trading like that. I'm not saying go buy AMC, go buy GME. I'm actually saying kind of the opposite on this channel, which is learn the skills, learn about divergences, learn how this right here is a triple divergence, and we have potential to go into a negative trend, and we see that divergence here on the RSI at the same time. This screams weakness and momentum, and then you can learn, how can I get screwed by this trade? This could turn up and just go positive here and get above the monthly expected move, and then that would be a sign, hey, we might continue to squeeze. That's the more important part. GME to the moon. Why are you on edge, bro? Because the data tricked people today, and it was very obvious. That's all. I'll capture this. Hang in there. I've been on the wrong side of trades many times before. You'll get through this. Markets are not going to crash. Oh, I'm not playing a market crash play. I literally have what? I think I have $2,000 invested, or in a trade. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be someone that says, oh, the market's going to crash this week. It takes time. I trade back and forth. Kyle saying likely next move won't be a hike, but a cut coming possibly in June. Here we go. Here we go. What was the data trick? They switched last month's PPI data. PPI month over month. Originally, these numbers said like 1.8, I think. And then, because I was looking at them last night, and then this is 0.5. That's a bad number. So you saw the reaction in the pre-market, the market kind of coming down. But then people read into this and say, oh, the problem was fixed because last month it actually was not higher. It was actually negative. So this is a trick, and it is a very obvious trick. And now Powell comes out and talks about rate cuts, which actually convinces me that the market's about to crash. Not saying it has to. I still play the signals. And that's where, who just said it? Who just said it? Johnny, am I going to take a crash trade because I think a crash is going to happen? No. No, I'm not. Even if I think that the probabilities are lining up that a major top could be in over the next month, nope. I'm not going to trade like that. Nope. I'm going to wait for the signals to prove it, and then I will take the trade. Very, very important to make that distinction, because if I take a trade based on what I think, and then, I want to wait till a time where it's a little more clear. I want to wait till I can switch I think to I know. And then when I know and it's obvious and it comes down, then I have to say, well, just in case, how could I get screwed? Hey, thank you so much for subscribing. Sorry, I do have AMC up on the screen, but Papa Caps, thank you for subscribing. Pablo, thank you for subscribing. Ervon Clausen, thank you so much for subscribing. And I think I hit everyone there. So thank you guys for subscribing today. Bear trap. Uh-oh. Remember, this has not crossed on this MACD. Do you see how I'm not going crazy and saying, oh, this is going to crash, triple top, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm saying this is potential for a triple top. Potential. But this has to go negative. And then it has to stay negative. So even if I take a trade here, I have to watch it for a little bit and make sure it's not just curling right back up, because it's probably not going to create a divergence right here. If it breaks through this level, then you would say, uh-oh, probably going a lot higher. AMD, let's go look at AMD again. AMD still negative on the 30-minute. I'd really like this to go positive first. Or on the 15-minute, sorry. On the 30-minute, still positive. Now, this is AMD does have the divergence here. So AMD does have the divergence here, so positivity is possible. If we can go up and go positive, that's the important part. We got to go positive. Are you short or long in GME? I haven't taken a position yet. I studied the technicals last night, and I found one key signal that happened for a brief moment before the actual massive move higher. And so if that signal sets up, I will join in. And that's it. I have nothing in GME or AMC yet. I have it up on my left screen. I'm seeing it pull back just like it did when I was doing my research last night. This is exactly the type of thing it was doing before that signal proved. If that signal proves, I will join in on the move. I think crash after the cut, at least that's what history has shown. Yes, SD, you're correct in that. Yes. A crash after but it can take 6 to 18 months. It can take 6 to 18 months. Now, if banks start to fail, that would speed up that timeline. I'm all for the AMC and GME thing to happen again. The problem is you're just going to get probably some kind of bailout. Hey, thank you for subscribing, Polito. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining the channel. Appreciate you being here today. Next year, 2007, it should tank. The next summer, it did. Keep in mind, peeps. Exactly. You see, it could take 6 to 18 months. So that's why I'm talking about the craziness continuing, because people are going to hear that July rate cut, and now we could head higher, right? They hear rate cut. This is what we this is the like cue the Dave Chappelle guy, right? Cue the Dave Chappelle character where he's like a drug addict. Like that's what they wanted. The GME signal that I'm waiting on, I do have it right here, okay? So this is all that happened. I researched it like for hours and hours last night. I already did the fundamental side. Can we short squeeze? Pretty much the recipe is here for a big short squeeze. The problem is I'm still a diligent trader, and I followed the technicals. So after a big push up like this, I think it went up almost 200% at this level. What happened? For a brief moment, only like a day, it curled down on this MACD, and then it didn't even get towards the center line. It really didn't get towards the center line. And then it crossed up. We got one green bar like this. And then the next one after it crossed up skyrocketed. So that's what I'm waiting for AMC. And I'll join in on the move. But I just want to make sure it's confirmed. I don't want to try to join a move and then like AMC just goes down and, you know, they do something. They halt trading for a long time or something. I'm going to wait for the signal. So that's what I'm paying attention to. And we already went over the environment and why I think it really can happen even more this time. AMC is performing better as a company. This is all, and all those signals were on GME as well, that 30-minute signal. So it was Prado. Yeah, the same signal on the 30-minute chart happened for GME as well. Holding a large bag in AMC, should have sold around the pre-split 72 price. But here I am, 50K, down and holding. Hey, props to you, man. That's some balls there. That's some balls, but maybe God will reward you, my friend. It has to be next to impossible to live in Cali. 50 cents per gallon tax hike coming. What? Dude, the government solution to everything is tax people more. They do not produce anything. Will NVIDIA see 890 or it goes up to 920? So for this week, NVIDIA's range. So if we are going to see a major positive move here, and this is the other thing that could cause AMC and GME to go up as well. We're in a squeeze environment for the stock market at the same time. That's very cool. But it could get up towards 950 by the end of the week. Now, do I think that happens? I have to see if the technicals prove it's going to happen. If this 2-hour rotates up on this MACD, I can see some positivity. Which means what? If the 2-hour curls up on the MACD, remember, we're gaining the skills on this channel. We're not just trying to get rich quick. Okay, the reason that I'm doing AMC is because I'm kind of pissed off because of the data and how rigged it was today and how obvious that was and how Jerome Powell's talking like that at the same time. So, test the high. If we cross on this MACD, test the high or go make a new one. So if we get good news with CPI, we could head up towards like a 950. NVIDIA tried to make you think it was going down, so it did. But if that 2-hour curls up, that's why I pay attention to multiple time frames. New to the stock market, does the pre-market being up so much mean there is interest and pre-orders made? If so, why does it drop so much as soon as it opens? Can't get my head around that part. A lot of the time when you see big drops, if the direction is up by the end of the day, but you saw like a big drop after a gap up in the morning, that could be 0 DTE. That could be people who took a play yesterday for today. And then you see some kind of pullback and then you need to go test a level of support. Right? So look at the SPY. It's like this. So one, I have this yellow line here for a reason. We know that this is where the options market has priced in for the entire month. The SPY is only supposed to go this high. But that's only a 68% chance to land underneath this line. So what you would say is you see a gap up or something like that, okay, and then we hit a resistance level, then some people will sell. Now you kind of have to figure out, is that going to be day traders or is it a trap or is it this, is it that? Here's how you can do if it's a trap, it's just you pay attention to this 15-minute. If this 15-minute rolls over, well, then that's a trap. But as of right now, what are we seeing? Probably a lot of wonky price action. Remember, volatility was what I was going to talk about in my video last night, but we had a power outage on our whole street, which is lame. But so volatility is a little bit elevated, but it's getting. I heard someone say it's getting smashed, but it got a little elevated yesterday, which means we're going to see big little like swings. And then if volatility really increases, we might see a big swing down. And this divergence here on the MACD will prove to be a good signal. So we're paying attention to this signal. It is a sign of weakness, and we need it to prove itself. Yeah, so that could be the thing as well. So if you wanted to talk about the the futures here, this type of move, well, if hedge funds didn't expect this, what do they want to do? Maybe they want to pump this thing up and then trap people here, so then the big move can happen. Okay, now we could read into this and say this might be smart money saying, oh, well, it came in negative last time and all this. We could read into it. So maybe we want to look at the dollar. Look at the dollar. It's coming down. So you have to kind of believe that this move is correct as of today. As of today, you would believe this move is correct. But we want to pay attention because there's major weakness here, right? There's major weakness here. So maybe I do want to look at volatility. And what is that? The 15-minute close to the center line. Oops, sorry, I meant to draw there. The 15-minute is close to the center line. If that can curl up on the 15-minute, then boom, that thing can go up. But what I was going to point out in my video last night, what I said right at the open this morning was there's some divergence up here on the 15 and 30-minute and things like that. So we have a time where it's like volatility is saying, yes, I'm higher. I can go higher on a 2-hour chart, but the 30-minute saying, hey, I need to pull back. So once this gets to the center line, we'll see what happens. But as of right now, volatility really subsiding here. That's just telling you a few more calls coming in a month out. Fear is still sucked out of the market at this point. We probably will experience some, I still think a pullback, a little bit more of a pullback will come. But it doesn't matter what I think. I got to react to the charts. As earnings comes in? Whoa. When's AMC earnings? Someone get that for me. When's AMC earnings? Large candle back to $10. Expect volatility. This thing can bounce back and forth. And I'm not saying that signal has to happen again. It's just that's what happened last time. And that's when I would be convinced that the momentum's telling me the next big move is coming. That 30-minute signal. Dude, AMC is poised to have actually a great 2024 and a great 2025, according to the box office. Talking right now for Tesla. Sorry, Tesla pumping. Let's go look at Tesla. Tesla pumping. Look at that. Now, here's the thing. You're outside of a weekly expected move. I'm just going to tell you guys how it is today. You're outside of a weekly expected move up at these levels. So be cautious. You do have this flatness of the RSI down here. And therefore, you could see that weakness come in. We could react all the way up towards that 180.92. That remember, I said 180.92. Maybe we get that retest. I think this is that scenario that we talked about, which was, hey, yeah, if we break out of this right now, most likely we get some kind of retest, and then the big move comes towards the end of the week, so then we get some new ranges. But this can violate those ranges. If it's violated them a couple times over the last few weeks, right? It's a 32% chance you end above them. It's a 68% chance you end below them. So as of right now, it's early on a Tuesday. So that would lead me to believe the probability is that we end up lower than right here as far as by the end of the week. But if we see some kind of short squeeze and things like that, we're still in a squeeze environment. So be cautious. But Tesla kind of telling you, hey, I got some weakness up here in momentum, and that's as high as I'm supposed to go for the whole week. People flooding calls makes me think tomorrow it goes shit. Yeah, like I was like, CPI won't crash the market, but just note, we still want to pay attention to things like bank failures. The thing that's actually crashing the market is the yields going higher, right? So if these yields can scream higher, what you see that reaction, that's the correct reaction to that PPI data. I want to be very clear. But now people are confused about the data because the last reading was 1.4 or 1.8, and now it's negative 0.1. So that's why we're probably seeing this positive reaction. And then Jerome Powell comes out and says something positive, and I'm very worried. I'm very worried because Jerome Powell's usually not that definitive. So why would he be so definitive right now? I'm very worried about where we're at. I'm very worried. Now, we could still experience squeezing, but over the next couple of months, I'm really going to be paying attention, guys. So make sure if you're not already, please subscribe. We would love to have you here. We would love to have you here. We would. We're always trying to learn. As long as you're someone who is very open to learning the actual skills of how to technically trade, not technically trade, but trade the technicals, you are very, very welcome here. And if you're one of the AMC or GME people that are just popping in for the day, I'll tell you that signal all day. I'm here for you. I am with you on that movement. It's just I, as a good trader, have to see a technical reason to get into a trade. I still keep that standard for myself. It's all about learning always. I'm still learning all the time. I just learned a lot about how the AMC and GME short squeeze happen. I learned about how the technicals perform during that, and now I can have some kind of way to get into that move. So really paying attention. Right now, I think this 15-minute chart. Let's look at the Qs, actually. I haven't looked at those for a minute. See, the divergence doesn't look very good for the Qs, but does this look like the best behavior to buy into? Look at all the selling coming in and every single time. I'm not convinced that this has to go higher after tomorrow. But, hey, I could be wrong, and I'm going to pay attention how I'm going to be wrong. And that would be if this 15-minute gives me this, and then tomorrow we just curl back up on that MACD. I know I should not be fighting against this move. Still in a squeeze environment. I swing trade, not day trade. Perfect. Neither do I. I don't day trade. AMC, I'm not going to take like Friday call option. No. I'm not doing that. I'm doing a month out or something. SPWR. I haven't looked at any of that. Let's look at the technicals for this. SunPower. So this as well. Yeah, okay, so this is actually what like AMC did. Except the pump was a little bit bigger right here. This is actually what AMC did, except the pump was like this. So like pretend we're up in this area. So pretty much where we're at now. Let's say that's AMC or GME. Both of them did the same signal. Now the 30-minute pulled down, came almost to the gap fill, and then turned, and then kind of went flat for a little bit, and then just got one green bar like that, and then boom, it went off to the races. So that's what I'm paying attention to, the 30-minute curling down, curling back up. Then you might have a potential there. But I do not know any of the squeeze data with this one, so don't read into that. Right? I haven't done the research on that one. He has tweeted. Oh God. Let's do it. Screw it. We're doing it today. What did he tweet?
Where is he?
I don't have Twitter, by the way. I have a Twitter just to watch stuff. I literally have like 1 follower. Don't follow me on Twitter. I do not use Twitter at all. Oh shit. This is sick, though. It's sick. Yeah, this is sick. I love this music behind it. That's sick. Yeah, that was funny. He's just posting, like, random stuff. I wonder if that takes over on the price. It actually sold off a little bit right there. Sold off like 20 cents. Yeah, that got me so hyped, though. Like, that was just cool to see. Also, I love that movie. Troy's a good movie. We are not Ape, Nate, whatever it is, we're not, but I'm here to support it as far as take those rich people's money, please. Leg and arm goosebumps. Ooh. I'm gonna tell you guys something else. I don't want to tell you guys, but I did make an expected move for the end of the month, and it's not the best because I'm doing it in the middle of the month, but I did make an expected move, and I'll tell you guys that. I just don't want to tell you guys right now, so because that would convince you guys like, oh, I'm gonna go put a bunch of money into it. I don't want people to put a bunch of money into it or something like that. But if that signal does prove itself, I will show you that that expected move. And I will tell anybody holding AMC right now, I would highly suggest if this thing gets above $100 to think about taking profit. And if it gets above 200, I would definitely think about taking profit. And then I'll show you the actual levels. Those aren't the levels. Those are not the levels. But I'm just telling you, like, I did make a range. Mojoma, yes, but do not be convinced. I will show you those ranges. If the thing proves itself, that's when we will show those ranges. I know, Drake. I don't want to convince anyone this move has to happen until I see momentum say it is going to happen. Right now, the momentum is dying a little bit, so I don't want to convince anyone. This is the last ride up, peeps. I don't think so. I think there's a lot more work done for AMC. Now, for the stock market, it looks very, very bad. We'll see if this proves. It has to prove itself. I put money into AMC and GME at pure principle. If I make money, that would be great, but it's more part of the takedown. Good man. That's how you treat this. Now, if you really need the money, I totally understand hitting the sell button. I totally understand. And I'm not even in the move yet. I'm still waiting for it to prove. I'm still a good trader at the end of the day, and I will be part of the movement if that movement shows it's going to happen. And I just looked at the signals all night last night. So if the moment is going to happen, I will be a part of it. But until that moment actually comes for the momentum to confirm that, I'm not going to I'm not going to buy into the move until I see the momentum proving it. But just because I am a YouTuber, I am showing this stuff live, I do not want to take a play and have 100 other people do it. Dude, I think we're going up. Like in the stock market? We could. We're in a squeeze environment. We very, very could. I would pay attention if we break through this level. So if we break through this level, you're going to get rid of these divergences, right? So if we get rid of these divergences, see a big move up like this, and then tomorrow we can hold, if we can do something like that, okay, this is where you don't necessarily want to be like extremely short in the stock market. That's why I'm not risking a ton of money. People, what is the news? Is crypto bull, and how does the PPI affect the market? Well, right now it should. The PPI affects the market. How does how do you even answer that question at this point? How do you even answer that question? Like, seriously, how do you answer that question? So you're saying there's more room up on GME and AMC. Yes, but, and there, we talked about this, if you want to go back, just try to scroll back and find the portion where we talked about, you'll see I have a portion of this live chat right now, this live video, where if you just scroll back and you find the time where we have AMC up on the main screen for a long time, and we have a bunch of check marks. Look for a bunch of check marks. That's where you want to watch, okay? I don't want to do it all again, but I'm going to tell you the squeeze potential is here, and if the momentum proves it, I will be a part of the move. Power to the people. All they have to do is, shut off the grid. All they have to do is shut down your trading platforms. All they have to do is E-Trade shut down. And I heard Charles Schwab might have. Maybe someone could clarify that, but have you ever modeled? Yes, I have. I actually was a model for some time. I still get contacted by Love Island, and I think that's hilarious, but yes, I was. God, that tweet is so hypey, though. Now, what can happen from here? What if CPI comes out as bad for tomorrow? We see the dip down in AMC, and then the apes take over, and the stock market actually goes down while IWM might actually pop up. So something to pay attention to with something very, very cool for you, you GME and AMC people out there is paying attention to IWM and paying attention to daily expected moves. This is the daily expected move for IWM. So that's most likely why you're seeing selling come in, right? This is as high up as IWM was expected to go. That's as high up as it is expected to go, which would tell me, okay, there's a 68% chance that we end below that line. And now, AMC is a part of that. And maybe that's where your zero DTE, your traders and things like that take profit in that overall move. And so this made total sense coming in at that price point for AMC and GME. Bro, I love you. You're a great guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if that move proves itself, I will share with you guys those expected moves. I made one for the end of the week, but it's not collecting all the data. Okay, so you would like to make that at the beginning of the week. I only did a 4-day expected move, so it's going to be a little wonky. But I can tell you that the move is very, very high. Now that being said, it's only a week. I'm not going to take some 4-day play on this. I'm going to kind of treat it as like an option investment type thing. I'm going to hold it for a little bit of time. I'm going to hold it until I hit levels where it hurts them for a while. And this could last a whole month. So what's my analysis on Tesla today? Tesla is outside of that weekly expected move. So let me pop over to Tesla on my other charts here. It's outside of that weekly expected move, which is where you can see something crazy happen. Okay, so you're seeing something crazy happen. What I would really pay attention to here is if we get back below 177.50. 177.50 is the level to really pay attention to. If we can see that start to fade from there, maybe I even go into a 5-minute or something like that. I see divergence in this overall move at this point. If this little 5-minute divergence can prove, you might actually reverse around from here. So a little bit of weakness should come in at this level, but this is where you can see one of those crazy squeezes happen, right? Once we get above 177.50, you have potential for a squeeze. So what you want to see, you see how resistance coming in at 177.50. You literally see it right here, 177.90. We wick out, we burst through. That is a very bullish thing. Now we have to see if we can hold at 177.50 with some kind of support, right? If we do something like this and then bounce back up on that 5-minute or something like that, that's what I would pay attention to. But as of right now, you're seeing one of those 32% chance things happening, but you have a lot of time left in the rest of the week to get back into that range. But just be cautious with these things. You need to actually find signals. You need to actually have the skill to know what to do and when to take the trade in this area. I do have a course down in the description if you're interested in learning. It's very, very cheap. I'm here to help. That's all. I'm really here to help in any way I can. And that's why that's why last night I stayed up for an extra 3 hours, 4 hours to research GME and AMC because I'm down for the little guy winning. I'm down for it, and I listened to a lot of the people who are big on it and a guy who was part of the last move talk about it, and I'm going to try to interview him on a live or in a YouTube video if the big move happens to see what he's talking about. Thanks, great info. You're welcome, Joe. And this would say this, Tesla, this is as high up as it's supposed to go. I just saw someone say take profit. So when you come up here early on in the week, if you have Tesla calls at this level, I totally understand if you want to let some ride. I would highly encourage you to take some kind of profit at this level. That is a very diligent thing to do. We go over that a little bit in the course. It's a great take profit level because this is as high as Tesla is supposed to go for the entire week, is right around this level here, these wicks. Okay, so you easily could end up down here by the end of the week. I want to be I'm going to start telling people that because screw these guys. Like, I want you guys to make money in this market. I want you guys to be learning, and this is a good learning opportunity. This says, hey, I'm above this line. This is a very diligent place to take profit. Very diligent to take profit at these levels. Not saying all of it. If you want to let some ride, I'm just saying, like, play with house money. Tesla short. I don't see a signal really to short Tesla at this point. Now, if you're saying, hey, the weekly range is right here and I want to short this below 177.50, I would understand that. Make a little play like this. Okay, cool. And then if that starts to go negative, you can hold it a little longer. But for now, this doesn't show me the best trade setup for a short here. What's something that was like a great trade setup I can show you? This one here. Amazon was a great trade. This was a great trade setup. So this is what you want to see. Amazon going up towards that weekly expected move on Thursday. And then what do we see? Well, we see a divergence here. We have triple divergence on the MACD, getting you close to the center line. That's what you want to see. And then here's your entry point. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I'm out. Right here is when I said, yeah, you might not want to short this too much further because you're getting oversold. And boom, okay, we start to bounce. So that could have ruined the whole position, just that little sideways action there. So that's more how we do things here. We can go into this. Remember, we are making a class membership for the live stream where it's going to be for class members only. I'm playing with how much to price that out, where we're going to go over a topic every single week after Monday close. That way people can learn for an hour for a very cheap price, and I'm going to call it the stock market technical analysis classes, like something like that. If you love crypto, you have to vote Trump even if you don't like him. Scar, you're in the right place. We all are voting for Trump, so I don't even think like serious Democrats, if you're any kind of intelligent, should vote for Biden. It is like just the worst policies I've ever seen. Just look at any one category and it's like the worst policy you've ever seen. Kind of crazy. But hey, people are allowed to vote for who they want to vote for. I'm not attacking you if you like Biden and you're going to vote for him. I want to be clear about that. I'm not attacking you in any way. If you want to vote for Biden, you have that right, and I love that fact about America. You vote for who you want to vote for based on why you want to vote. I would highly encourage you to vote based on policies because those are what are actually going to affect you. "30-minute notice right now we have rejection. So that is not the best sign. You need that 30 minutes to cross up and go positive. Look at big. Oh, big lots. Oh my god. Wait, is this another squeeze one? Is this someone tell me, is this another squeeze one? I don't know about this one at all. Possibly. Well, I'd say this. If you want to learn the technical side of trading, I really like 30-minute charts. I am someone who, if you're going to learn from me, you're going to learn. I love 30-minute charts. They are very, very good for quick moves. And what do we see? If this beats down like this, comes down, at any time, if that crosses back up and this has any squeeze potential, I need to research into this. I don't know anything about this, but I can tell you this. If the MACD curls down and then curls back up, that's usually a confirmation of a second move. Okay, then you would enter. All right, this is kind of how we do things here. And then you can test the high and go make a new one. I don't care how high that one goes. I just know that the squeeze potential is most likely an AMC right now. J Powell likes a lot, yeah. I mean, he's fine, but what are we seeing from that? No confirmations from the charts with Jerome Powell's talk. What do I think about the crypto market? I think there's potential here for some kind of memes to pop off. Am I seeing like Dogecoin give me good signals? By the way, if you're going to trade crypto and treat it like we trade in the stock market, highly encourage a 2-hour. 2-hour is kind of like a 30-minute. Okay, so if this can do something like this and turn down and turn back up, get close to the center line because it looks like it's weak right now, okay, that could be another positive move for Dogecoin. You guys know this was a big play that I made a lot of money from on Dogecoin. Spent $100 and I made $6,000 back in the day. So I was part of the big pump in Dogecoin. I sold out a little bit early, but hey, I turned $100 into $6,000 on Dogecoin, so I'm not sad about that at all. Now, if we're going to see this dip lower, pay attention. We're really just moving a little bit tapered here. So what if I get a double bottom and things like that? That's what you more want to pay attention to on the 2-hour here. Treat it like your 30-minute for what we do in the stock market and for individual stocks. Now we're just watching a 15 because of the triple divergence here. Ripple XRP. My brother's a very big Ripple fan. Very, very big Ripple fan. Okay. But what you would say about these technicals here, well, I want to look at a 2-hour. And then I would say, look at this negative territory. So the likelihood of going down here is good if we can cross over on this MACD. Do I think that's going to happen? I would say that's likely. But then I'm going to pay attention to these lows because what are you forming down here? You're trying to form triple divergence. All right. Now, that triple divergence is not on the RSI at the same time, but if you can go create that divergence at the same time, that's why I'm kind of leaning towards a downside move. This would be a great look. This would be all a great look, and then you just want to make sure that goes positive. You'll learn all this stuff in the course, by the way. The course down below and the classes that we're going to talk about, we'll get to a lot of this stuff. We're just going to treat it individually. We'll talk about indicators and all that. Your Tesla short printing. Let's see. Let's go see on the 15-minute here. I'm not shorting Tesla, by the way. I don't really have the technicals to fully convince me. Now, this says pullback. This is a triple divergence, triple flat divergence, right? So that leans me towards a pullback. So what did I say early on in the week? If we do break out of this, we don't go make a divergence down here. Most likely we'll break out, and then we'll get a retest. Because if we mentioned this as well, because if we break out, we'll get outside that weekly range early on in the week. We're getting outside that range early on in the week. So the actual probabilities here, 68% chance to land down. So why wouldn't we go retest and fill a gap? Well, maybe we go fill both gaps and then we see that turn back around. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards for Tesla. AMC is starting to fade again here. I'm gonna have to be quick with this shit, man. I have to keep that. Okay. All right. Sorry, that blinked out for a second. XCXPLT paying with crypto for the cores. I don't accept crypto for the cores. I don't think it allows me to. I'm sorry about that. UVIX a buy? It could be. I would say it's a very short-term play. I think you'd rather maybe like short something and like short the stock, short the SPY or something. But volatility there, I mean, there's a play to be had here if that can scale up one more time. Because we haven't seen the drawback in the SPY, the UVXY has really suffered, right? Because we're not seeing that buying in the SPY or that selling in the SPY. The UVXY has suffered here. But I think some kind of big move could be coming for UVXY, yes. Now, is that big move going to go to $50? Probably not. It's probably going to go to like 29 or 30 bucks. And look at that volatility. We'll see if that starts to scale up right now. It really depends, though. CPI tomorrow can flip everything on its head if we get some kind of pullback today. But we're not getting that pullback today. The dollar bottom and shooting higher. All right, let's go look at the dollar for a brief moment here. It's still like even 15-minute. I don't even like the 15-minute. Let's look at a 2-hour. This is kind of like a crypto thing. If it bases out here, I mean, that would be the argument for a higher low. And then we see that scale back up. But this has to go positive for me to say we're getting a crash. A 2-hour at least has to go positive to see that crash. VIX on a 2-hour, what am I leaning towards? Yeah, I still think a potential for a pop is there. And that could happen. But with CPI, maybe that convinces people. Because PPI was actually bad. And we're seeing upward moves. That's not a good sign. Still looks like a likely thing to happen would be a test of 1212. Right now, the fear-greed index technically is neutral. Technically neutral. Big lots. Stock looks sideways at the highs. Could be capitulation. Very well could, actually. Yes, it very well could. That's a very good statement to make. And we're seeing some triple top behavior. So as far as the technicals go. Hey, Oh Family Adventures. Thank you so much. 15 euros there. It's going to pop up in a second for you guys to see. Please say thank you, Family Adventures, for giving back to the community in the chat. Please say thank you to Family Adventures and say hell yeah to them. Love your talk this morning about market manipulation. For new traders, try to avoid that first move after a data drop. It usually turns out to be a trap. Love your honest content as always, bro. Thank you for the 15 euros. Really appreciate it. Yeah, always. And then the cool part about these chats is eventually, if there are people in here who want to learn and say their money is very tight, you people who are making money in the community, hopefully I can set it up so you can donate. Therefore, your donations like this one, your super chats and things like that, you can donate subscriptions and things like that. You can donate memberships, I believe, if I'm correct. I used to do that on Twitch, and it was very, very cool. If you didn't know, I used to be a comedic streamer, pretty big on TikTok and Twitch. Well, not really Twitch, but for the most part, TikTok. I'd have like 300 people watching me on Twitch, and we raised money for cancer and things like that at times. It was very, very fun. Have your profit takers set before entering trades early. Very, very true. Very good idea to make sure to take profit at the right levels, have those levels set, make sure to put those stops in because we are in an we're moving sideways. So this is just building time for the 2-hour, right? We're built. Oh no, 2 hour, 2 hours still overbought. Never mind. 15-minute divergence. We would need a pullback here. If we start to go up from here, it's going to be pretty out of gas. Maybe we gap up and then maybe we do something like this though. You can see that squeeze happen, and then that starts to do this. And then we start to get rid of these technical signals. But as of right now, we see triple divergence on the 15-minute. Looks like a triple top to me. NVIDIA's ripping. Uh-oh, so we have to pay attention to NVIDIA. NVIDIA, if it's ripping on the 2-hour, we need that confirmation. All right, we haven't fully got the confirmation yet. Make sure this holds. As of right now, this looks like it could rip higher. Remember, individual stocks, you want to pay attention to your individual stocks. The SPY can look how the SPY wants to look. NVIDIA can still go for a run and the SPY experience weakness. But is that likely? Probably not. But if this curls up, positive territory, right? Keep it very simple. Curls up, positive territory. Do you have a ton of room left in this move? You got to break through this high because you could create a double top up here with how this RSI is looking. Did he tweet again, or was it Troy? Was it Brad Pitt? Because we watched that. It was sick. AMC is selling off a little bit still. I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm keeping my eye on AMC because I think that's the one. By the way, since GME was paused or stopped or whatever, I couldn't even find the implied volatility for it. I mean, maybe I was just like tired last night and not thinking of it correctly, but everything came so easily for AMC. I got the implied volatility. They didn't get stopped, halted yesterday or anything like that. So AMC was the one I made ranges for. This curls up, positive territory, positive move. Watch out at this high, though. That's what I would say. Watch out. You still have a 30-minute divergence that could form up here. Or maybe an hourly looks better, right? Maybe an hourly looks better. See that curling up? If this pops up to this level and fails, well, that could be a double top. But you have to be looking at two things at once all the time. This could be a cup and a handle. So if that remains positive, does not go negative and stay negative, and doesn't take out this low, well, then you might be seeing another squeeze for NVIDIA. Thank you so much for the 15 euros, Family Adventures. I just heard it ding in my ears. AMD's ripping. There you go, AMD trying to confirm the move higher. Remember, 30-minute divergence was here. Can this go positive? Looks like it is right now. So solid move here. Be a little cautious, though. You still have the SPY acting a little funky. You have the Qs acting a little funky. I don't want anyone to get faked out. There's a lot of fake outs with AMD. That's why I don't really trade it anymore. A lot of fake outs throughout this entire downward move. So something to pay attention to. 2-hour confirmations. We need 2-hour confirmations here. Right now, getting a green impression. But is that going to go positive? What does my range look like? That's what I have to pay attention to for AMD. I'll take a peek at AMD's range right now. We've got about 6 to 7 points to the upside for AMD if it catches a bid here. But you have to be paying attention to how you could get screwed out of a trade. If this 30-minute curls down at any time, where is it? Right next to the center line. So this could be ripped away. If you're going to get into a move, you always want to pay attention to a different time frame and say, how could this screw me over? 30 minutes right by negative territory. And if that rolls over, then that 2 hour is not going to be good. But if that continues to be positive, 2 hour goes into positive territory, it looks good. Yo, I heard copper was very undervalued, but I need to do more research into that. 52-week bill auction. Qualcomm as well. All the semis are squeezing. Ooh, I'm worried about this. This is going to be a 2 hour divergence. Yeah, 2 hour divergence up in this area. Now, you don't necessarily, I mean, it's kind of, actually, you don't necessarily even have flatness on the RSI at the same time, so this could lead to some kind of pullback. This level right here, very, very important, right? This is where you can mark these off a lot of the time. And usually you don't even have to look across the way. You just say, that level's important because we gapped above it. Oh, look at that. It magically matches up with all these highs where resistance came in. So this is where I would expect support to come in. So if we dip down like this, one thing is you have to be paying attention to if you want to take a call with this, if this curls up, okay, that's fine, right? Curls down to the center line, curls back up, positive territory, another positive move coming. But if this is going to drop down, we have to pay attention to two things at once. You always want to be open to multiple scenarios. You never want to be too convinced something is happening because that's how they get you, okay? So boom, this could complete. This is where you'd want to complete the cup. Then you get a handle that says, hey, I'm going higher, and then it traps you, and boom. So around this area, if it makes this move, you want to pay attention to a 30-minute chart, see if that curls down. Solid move, though. Very, very bullish. Very bullish, right? Still positive context. Baby girl's awake. I am so excited to move, guys, and set up my office. We can make it some fun stuff. It'll be great for the courses or for the classes live and things like that. It'll be so much fun. This one here, this is at 3 times leveraged, right? And so you don't necessarily like the technicals here. Because it's 3 times leveraged. That's all I'm going to say about this. You don't necessarily want to pay too close attention to that. All right, guys, I'm going to do... still, I want you to be aware of everything. We do have a lot going on. We have to pack and things like that to get into our new place. So I just want to do a last breakdown for you guys, and then we'll make sure to double down and show you guys that AMD signal again. And if that move does happen, I'll post the expected move to... Patreon, okay? Patreon, or I might even post it to YouTube as well to help everyone out. I'll probably post it to YouTube as well. Moves are fading. Yes, we have to see if this 15-minute can complete. Okay, so here's what we're saying. Moves are fading. Okay, well, in order to know if that next move is coming, first of all, I have to see this curl over. Then I have to see it go negative. From there, what could I pay attention to? Well, are we taking out lows and making a new low? Sorry, baby girl's crying, but it's okay. So from this, we still want to pay attention. It looks like a triple top to me. Doesn't matter. CPI can turn this thing right back around. Tomorrow we'll pay attention to that. But SPY showing a triple divergence down here on the MACD and a triple divergence on the RSI at the same time. Flatness in the nearest one. So it looks like a reversal in trend is possible here. The crash is possible from here. I want you to be very clear about that. The crash doesn't crash because of one CPI print. It crashes because, well, the market crashes because you actually see those yields climb higher because of the CPI, and then those yields cause banks to go fail. That's what you'd pay attention to. Right now, what are you seeing on the Qs? Not the best divergences, but look at all the selling coming in every single time. This is very worrisome for the Qs. If this can go negative here, yeah, we can start that negative trend. Thank you so much for subscribing. You called out Tesla. Is Tesla? Yeah. Okay, we'll get to Tesla in a moment. But Q is very similar. I think the SPY looks like a little bit better opportunity. Thank you guys for subscribing right now. Really appreciate it. What do we want to pay attention to for Apple? Well, in the 30-minute, I could say, hey, another positive move could come. If what? I'm still in positive context, and I could see this rotate up. If that curls up, I don't necessarily want to take downside because we could go up, but then we can make a divergence in the future. Oh, this is a 15-minute. Shit, I'm sorry, guys. 30-minute here, crossing down. There we go. Okay, so this is divergence here. So 30-minute divergence. This is a good trade setup. You came to that weekly expected move right here. That's why I was mentioning it this morning. We pop up above it. Now we have a 68% chance to close down within it. So this is kind of proving itself right now. Wait for that to complete, right? You still have 21 minutes in that bar. All right, so what do we want to pay attention to with that? 2 hour. The 2 hour showing you that divergence as well. It's one slight green bar means it's on the MACD and it's on the RSI at the same time. What can that do? It can roll over the daily. So this is what we're going to do in our classes, and this is what is on the course. And the course is going to be very informative, okay? So the course is down in the description. It's only $200. It's very, very good. Now, what do we want to see here? We need this to curl down. Now, once this happens, it does have a good potential to happen because of that 2 hour divergence. Just make sure you're paying attention to how you can get screwed out of a trade. So how would you get screwed out of a trade? The 30-minute curls up into the 15-minute curls up into positive territory. This 30-minute beats down to the center line and curls up again. So if we do something like this, we pull down, then we get some kind of pop, and then we drop again. Hey, lower high is there. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I have a head and shoulders. If I'm going to go higher, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to see it test this higher, go make a new one, make a divergence. So you can pay attention to two things there. Tesla, let's look at that. Remember, we were calling out Tesla. It's outside of that weekly expected move with this wick right here. We said, hey, this looks like it needs some kind of pullback. On the 15-minute, you do have a divergence on the RSI, kind of a flat one across the board. So this is still looking like a pullback for a retest, just like we talked about yesterday. If we do not make a divergence on the 30-minute here, then we are going to see some kind of pop outside or towards the weekly expected move, and then we will retest and then go higher. So anytime this wants to curve back up in positive territory, you could see the next big move. Okay, don't think that this has to crash down at this level. And thank you so much, SD, for the $4.99. I see it, and it'll pop up in a moment, but good luck with the move. I really appreciate that. I just spent a lot of money for this move. So AMC, AMZ, AMZN, Amazon, sorry, not getting you excited. What are you seeing right here? 15-minute divergence. First of all, 15-minute divergence, so that's leading to a pop. Can that go positive? That's the big thing here. If this just curls over at any time, pay attention to how you can get screwed out of a move. 30-minute, this was a great trade setup. You got the divergence up here. You have triple divergence on the MACD. I wish I was paying closer attention to this. But right here was the entry point. You don't necessarily want to FOMO into something. Thank you so much for subscribing. And you don't necessarily want to FOMO into it. Actually, I'll go through and thank everyone for subscribing at the end of this. So you don't want to FOMO into it here. You don't want to FOMO into it here. You want to say, okay, here's where I'm in. Okay, now we make the ABC move down. Now I got to say, okay, how far am I expected to go down? And am I at a point where I have liquidity? Okay, yes, I am. Okay, I could see some kind of bounce. This can kind of ruin that trade a little bit. And then boom, yeah, we see another move down. But if you hold at this level now, you're like, okay, now this bounce is going to really struggle. So for Amazon, the 2 hour, the reason this looked so bad was because of the daily, and we'll talk about that. You can see I have the line from the daily chart up in this area. But right now, the 2 hour is what I'm paying attention to. And what am I seeing? Well, on the 2 hour, curling down towards the center line. So if we see positivity come in, you should not be taking any more downside. The 2 hours curling up, positive territory. We can test this high. We can go make a new one. And then maybe I get a 2 hour divergence. And that's the moment for some kind of bigger pullback, some kind of reversal in trend. Now, I just wanted to point out the daily side for Amazon as well. Looks very double top-like. What do you see on the MACD? What do you see on the MACD? We see a triple divergence here. We have that divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. So if this starts to cross over, that is a bad sign. That means we have potential to cross through the center line. If you cross through that center line, you're most likely going into a negative trend. And we're going to see Amazon act very dramatically. If it breaks through 166.12, be very worried for Amazon with that double top. NVIDIA, this is starting to catch a bid. We talked about how it looked flaggy on the daily scale. We have to talk about it kind of positively here. Why? It's in positive territory. So it's in a positive trend. Still in a positive trend. The 2 hour looks like what? Looks like it could curl up and go positive, but we have to make sure to wait till these things complete. Okay, we have to make sure that we wait till they complete because you can get rejection from this level. So if that's not going to complete at this point, what would happen? Well, we're probably going to see a 30-minute negative trend, right? We're going to be able to go into negative territory. So this is how you get screwed out of any upside. Pay attention to the 30-minute, crossing down and going negative. There you go, AMC making that big dip. AMD here, making this pop up with that divergence, but is it going positive yet? No, it's not. So be very cautious here. This is why you want to pay attention to a 2 hour crossing. Remember, that was crossed. Now it's not. So you want to wait till these things really confirm or at least get some strength behind it, and then you can take a chance and have a stop in place. But AMD is starting to fade that move as of right now. So if the 30-minute just rolls over negative territory, we're going to see a negative move here. You can pay attention to a 15-minute, maybe a small divergence here, but it looks like it's going to continue the negative trend as of right now. Sorry, Meta. Meta here, what's going on? Well, 30-minute was able to curl up, but it's in negative territory now, so we have to pay attention to some downside, right? We can talk negatively of this on the 30-minute, maybe a 15-minute curling down. You see the little divergence here, so that should say, hey, no more downsides coming. At least for now, we're going to get some kind of bounce. Can it go positive? It is right now, but if that rolls over, not the best news for Meta. What am I looking for Meta? A retest of 453.08. I think that's a great level. We can come down to this area, then I'd be convinced, like, hey, if this turns up at any time, going to see the next positive move, right? So that's what I would pay attention to for Meta. Now it's looking like it's getting some kind of bounce. Let's see if that holds. Microsoft, this one here, still holding at higher levels, so I really would like to see that pulling back here, but it doesn't matter what I like, right? Doesn't matter what I like, because I really need to actually see things proven. Now, this is a great trade setup. We actually gave this trade setup, the triple divergence down here, the multi-divergence down here, the multiple point divergence on the MACD, and you have triple divergence on the RSI at the same time. Great trade. Great trade. I know a lot of people took this, and congratulations, but now you look like you need some kind of pullback. Why am I saying that? Well, I think the hourly is pretty clear. You can kind of see how we got these little green bars. This is showing you divergence here, so some kind of pullback. And you notice we're just getting closer and closer to going negative. So I think that pullback's coming. Maybe CPI is the moment. Google, this one here. Hey, it tried to pop up. Let's look at a 30-minute, actually. 30-minute, able to go positive, but coming in at that trend line, some resistance. This looked like it could be cupped with a wonky big handle. Not the best look for a handle, really, but if that can remain positive, we'll see positive territory. Want to pay attention to a 2-hour curling up. Positive territory can be there, but this looks like a lower high at this point. So if we break through this level, bad things for Google. And if we go negative, obviously that's bad, but you want to pay attention. If that's crossing up, positivity can be there. Yeah, true. CPI might not be priced in, but we are still higher up with every CPI reading. Netflix here, I really think that this is going to be a head and shoulders on the shorter time frames. I think it's a 30-minute. Yeah, 30-minute here. Now you're getting a double top. Actually, pretty much triple top, I mean, honestly. But pretty much what we want to pay attention to is you have divergence, okay? You have good divergence here at this level. Netflix, remember I told you guys about if you want a fundamental side thing, I told you people were asking in Kansas, which is where I am, they were asking, hey, what is something that you're getting rid of because of inflation is too high? And they're like, everyone, like, I read 60 comments and 30 of them said they're getting rid of all of their streaming platforms. Do you trust Jerome Powell? No. I think he is one of the scum of the earth and he loves power. That's what I think. Look how much power he has over the market. If I would like Jerome Powell, he would have actually been a dad and done what is right to make deflation happen, and he's not doing that. He's causing confusion, which leads me to believe that he's one of the power trip people, and I don't trust him one bit. Now, going forward, remember, we want to talk about these guys, AMC. So I am going to give you those levels. Remember, what are we paying attention to for AMC? What are we paying attention to for AMC? The signal that I found as far as the technicals go. We already talked about the squeeze potential is here. We already talked about the sentiment, the pissed offness of the average person is here. So people will buy into this. What's happening now? People taking profit. Okay, cool. If this turns down for a little bit of a moment and then turns back up, because this is what it looked like. It didn't get down towards the center line and then crosses back up into positive territory. What happens? The next big move is coming for AMC. And I'm going to zoom out here. I am going to give you the levels. I do not want it to convince you to take a play right now. I want you to try to still be a good technical trader here. Okay, if you want to do something here, if you want to try to stick it to the man, whatever you want to do, that is your decision. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to learn from this and know technicals can still help you in these moves. What's happening right now, we're seeing that pull back. What's most likely going to happen? We might go all the way down towards this gap. People will be convinced that the game is over. And then you know that the technicals are, this is in positive territory. If that curls down and crosses up at any time, you're going to see another positive move that could maybe test this high or go make a new one. Be careful of a lower high and things like that. We have to pay attention to those because we're good traders. Pay attention to how you can get screwed. As of right now, I didn't get into this because I know the technicals did this last time. I researched this for hours last night. Now I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to give you those levels. Do not let it convince you that this thing has to get to those levels by Friday or by the end of the month. All right, I'm going to zoom out. What's going on daily scale? All right, I'm going to give you these levels right now. But just pay attention. This is not a reason to buy. This is not a reason, okay? If you're going to do anything like this, I would highly encourage you to use an amount of money you are willing to lose. This is the potential for a short squeeze, but you're not seeing that signal confirm that on a 30-minute yet. So as far as Friday goes, AMC is priced in. It can go as high as 253.77 as of right now. A lot can change in 24 hours. A lot can change. So be very, very careful with this. Now, as far as the end of the month goes, 362.69. That's as high as AMC can go. According to the options data, this is the 68% zone right there. The other chance is AMC goes down to nothing. Okay, so pay attention. Use an amount that you're willing to lose, but here are some levels you can pay attention to for the end of the month, 362.69, and for the end of the week, 253.77. I would highly encourage you not to take a play for Friday, right? Just do an option that's a little bit further out is what I would say to be safer with this, but I know you're using an amount that you're willing to lose. That's what I would say again. AMC was stopped again. That is going to cause selling. This is exactly what happened last time. I know I said yes. I think I said yesterday, I was like, yeah, this time's different. And then right after I said that, I was like, but every time someone said this time's different, they've been wrong. And I said it and I might be wrong. So how could I prove that I'm going to be wrong this time? A 30-minute chart curling up into positive territory. Because we're in a positive trend, that positivity can take over. And something like PPI, pissing all these people off and then trapping them to the upside will make them even more mad, and therefore they might want to stick it to them and they might join in on the move. And maybe we see Roaring Kitty post some stuff, but right now this has not happened, so just be a little patient here. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to the new subscribers. I'm going to say hi to you guys real quick because we got a lot of subscribers that came in today. Please think about subscribing. It's a very, very fun. Thank you so much for the donations, SD Hodel. Tanner, thank you so much for joining us. H, thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry, my scroll thing is... Go. Now I can see all your guys' names. Tanner, thank you so much for joining. H, Family Adventures, thank you so much for the €15. Polito, Papa Caps, Pablo, Watson, thank you for joining. And Ervon Klassen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate the new subscribers. Make sure that we're still dedicated to this channel, learning, okay? Learning about how to do this, being good traders. But, you know, with how the data acted today, I totally understand if you want to take a play and try to stick it to them a little bit. I totally understand it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. If the technicals prove that that is going to happen again, then I will do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I got to get to packing. FSLY. I'll take a look at it real quick. I had to read that very slowly. This one here, screaming to the upside. Remember, if we're still trying to be good traders, we can think of this just in positive context. Positive territory, what happened? This is actually what AMC looked like in... GME. This is like exactly what it looked like, except it got one little green bar that confirmed, I think, and then it started to scale up quickly. So this is kind of what you're maybe expecting for AMC and GME. But as of right now, this is way overbought. I'm not going to YOLO into anything yet. I want that to base out, curl up into positive territory, right? Base out, curl up into positive territory for that next move. That's what I would say for this one here. Now let's look at a daily scale real quick because that's a big move. Ooh, you have daily divergence on the MACD, but not the RSI. Okay, so this could be some kind of pump and then dump. All right, this could be some kind of bounce that then fails. Just want to point that out. Now, if this is able to go positive, we can talk differently, but it's negative. It's in a negative trend, so I have to be a little bit cautious of any bounces here. Pay attention to my 2 hours and things like that. 2 hour gets close to the center line. What likes to happen? Well, we could curl down from that area. So pay attention. You could be seeing a big move, but maybe you need a 2 hour divergence first. Alrighty, that was pretty good. Pretty good time. I'm going to leave you guys on a 15-minute. And we can, yeah, let's peek at the dollar just to see if that selling is pretty real. We can peek at that real quick as well. Not necessarily seeing the dollar scale up quickly here. Not necessarily seeing it. A lot of people still buying into the move before CPI. So the thing is, you're in a squeeze environment in the overall stock market. Probably a good thing for some kind of squeeze in AMC and GME. If you just see that curl up, now they're starting to clamp down on the trading. So big move could be coming. We'll see if that actually proves itself. And then we'll talk about getting into that move. But for now, giving you guys these levels. Hopefully you like those levels that I did give you on for AMC and GME. Highly encourage you to just scroll back 5 minutes and find that level if you need it. But as of right now, dollar really breaking down here. Could get some kind of bounce at this level. SPY doesn't look very good. So. All right, guys, I have to go. I have to pack a little bit. So I'm going to leave you guys with this 15-minute. Wait for that to confirm, and we'll see if we can go negative here. Important to go negative. Make sure to pay attention to how you can get screwed out of any kind of move. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for the donations, and thank you to everyone who is a part of this community. Really do appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Good luck with all your trading for the rest of the day, and I'll see you later tonight. Peace.